We're gonna wait for another 3 minutes or so before Fernando gets started. You ready? He doesn't hear me. He got his earphones on. He's gonna be able to hear me only
No, I can
through.
hear you. I'm
You
looking
can
at
hear me through.
something. I got a review, the alert. Hold on, I got an alert from Discord. Maybe it's something I ain't gotta worry about. Hold on. Okay, it's saying somebody. I'll have to check it out later. It's saying somebody joined in a way that violates Discord. So somebody somehow got on this, broke into this server. It's basically telling me. All right. Well, kudos to you.
Unusual detected. No, that's because there is so many people joining right now.
It
That's
could
probably
be,
why.
but we're gonna crash Discord then. All right.
There's no, it's just gonna ask them to do their captcha.
All right.
Yeah, to prove that they're human.
That they're not bots.
Yep, they're gonna be fine. It's because I just sent 290 emails. Uh,
Oh.
so people are joining in. For everybody who hasn't joined yet, they're gonna be joining in from Eventbrite. They're gonna be joining in from the email. They're gonna be joining from LinkedIn as well. If anybody feels courageous, you can ask us to unmute you, and you can participate to introduce yourself. Hi, Milos. Hi, Lasha.
Hi.
We got a little bit more people here, and I have a cool. I hear myself from the computer. All right. Lasha, there is a mute button. It looks like a microphone. It's next to your name. Just so we don't hear the background noise, there's a mute button.
It's
Little
very loud.
microphone. You should be able to
Yeah,
hear
just
it.
so that
So
we don't have to mute you.
there you go. You found it. Great job.
It's better
I'm
if we
gonna
don't
mute
have to
myself too, just in case, so Fernando can get started. And if anybody has a background noise, we're gonna mute them server side. But if you need to unmute, if you need us to remove the mute, then we'll be happy to just text us in the chat, the web dev chat or somewhere, at everyone. I'm gonna ping everybody right now. Send now. Okay, that's the web dev channel. You can text over there and we'll be happy to unmute you. All right, Fernando, take the floor.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming, and I'm happy to see everybody here. I heard some of your guys' stories. I wish I could have recorded some of this stuff, but I'm just letting you know right now, just so that way you know the event's being recorded. Just because we want to be able to post snippets of our events on our social profiles, so that way people can get a glance at what our events are about or what we do here. Today's a sponsored event by New Camp Coding Bootcamp. So I work part-time for the bootcamp. So they sponsor these events, and in the sense that I host events for them as a web developer and ambassador. And so we talk about what we're going to talk about today is different ways of getting into the world of tech or getting a tech job, and the different options you have out there and how they compare against the other. Maybe in my opinion, maybe other people have opinions. You can volunteer your opinion if you like. I know that a lot of the data I get is based off statistical data from New Camp's, whoever they hire to do that. They have somebody that they hire to go on and get the data for us. So a lot of the data I give is pretty accurate, I would say, but anyway, this is being recorded, just so you know. So if anybody doesn't like that, I'm sorry. You do have the option to leave. but I hope you guys all stay. So, what I was going to get started with were some slides. Let me see this chat real quick. Someone's chatting in the chat. So, whoever that is, 7. Hello. All right. All right. Yeah, you go ahead and you get them in the chat. All right. Um, so let me go to the slides. I'm going to share my screen. Anybody that, yeah, let me share my screen here. You can just click on there. You can see, I know it's showing all of us right now, but I'm about to change that. So let me know if you guys can see that, the slides. I'm not the best at PowerPoint, but I got some slides here. I know you're probably going to see my whole PowerPoint screen, so I'm okay with that. Give me a thumbs up, or let me know, Irina, can you see it when you go to the stream? Maybe you'll have to show Lasha, I think her name was, how to get to the stream. Okay. All right. So the slides are basically what we put together for the best way to learn a code and actually finish what you start, so you can get a career in tech. We tell people without spending a fortune, because most people, that they don't got the fortune to spend. They got other obligations, bills to pay, families to raise, things like that. And some of us already locked into other obligations without going to university. And I'm not going to be saying anything bad about a university because I go to university and I love it. Or without quitting your job. So like some of these options don't require you to quit your job either. Um, so who I am, my name is Fernando. I am a new camp Coding Bootcamp graduate. I graduated from the full stack web and mobile development bootcamp a couple, like maybe 2.5 years ago or so. I can't remember. It's been a while since I took it, but I graduated there. And during that time, I went to University of Advancing Technology. I started a bachelor degree there based off a recommendation from an instructor I met that was working full time at Microsoft, and he was working part time at New Camp Coding Bootcamp, and he ended up being one of my instructors. And he told me if I was able to make the commitment for a bachelor, a computer science degree, bachelor of science degree, to do it. That he recommended it in addition to the boot camp. So that's the main reason why I went for it, because at the time that was my dream job. Was I wanted to go to Microsoft. Eventually, I still do. I want to maybe retire there because my dream right now is building my own company, my own brand. Um, I also completed a software engineering apprenticeship. It was an 8-month apprenticeship where I learned from, I would say, approximately 11 or 12 different senior software engineers. One of them was a junior engineer, so it's about 11. It was probably about 10 or 11 senior engineers I learned from, and one was a junior developer. And I'm also the founder and CEO of DarkMode Devs, my own company. Um, so why a career in coding? And I know the tech industry is booming, so that is accurate. So I'm gonna tell you, the industry, everybody sees it growing, all the AI coming out. There's always some new startup coming out. There's always some new software as a service coming out. Like there's always something coming out. There's new games coming out. So the industry is booming. Um, and it isn't really, it's not slowing down. What people are experiencing that sucks is the job market, but I'll get to that. Um, but basically, it is gonna grow. It's, I don't want to read this like a robot. I have it here so that way you can read it if you like the some of the data that's listed here in the blue font. Uh, why career in coding? I would say everybody has their own reasons. Me, it was because I loved it. So like, I'll give you like my own reasons. Everybody has their own reasons. Some people, I guess the highlights would be that the one of them that stands out to most people is that to be a software engineer, or full, whatever it is, front end developer, back end developer, full stack developer, whatever industry that or whatever you're interested in, most of them do not require a college degree. So most of them don't require you to go to university to get a job as a result. It's all going to come down to your skill, your level of skill. So they're going to want to see how you perform and your knowledge of data structures and algorithms, big O analysis. If you have language fluency in your chosen programming language, and things like that. Those are the things they care about. And how good you, if you're going to get into web or application development, how good you use your tools. Like if you're using a framework like React, or Bootstrap or Vue, or if you're using like Flutter, another mobile app framework, or React Native. Like depending on what your specialty is, what your goal is. Okay, did someone join? I didn't know if they're trying to ask me a question here. All right, so I'll keep going. Anyway, everybody has their reasons. Mine was because I seen the direction tech was going. I liked the technology. I loved how smartphones just had apps on them all of a sudden, because before it wasn't long ago for me that phones didn't have the capabilities they have now, smartphones, and the internet was a little bit more boring. It was more barren. So like even if you're on a laptop surfing the net, even 10, 15 years ago, it's not going to look how it does now. There's a lot going on now, and I wanted to be part of that. So I started looking into coding, and when I got into actually coding, I just loved it. So I stuck with it. Um, some people, they get into coding because the money. So like some people, they hear about, oh yeah, I can build websites or an app or whatever part of software engineering, whatever field they're going to get into, and I can make a bunch of money just like out the gate. So like right away, I've seen this number. I've seen jobs, for like a junior web developer somewhere online. They'll be posting at the minimum I've seen was 65,000, about 65 ish, 60, 65 ish, all the way up to 120, and that's on the high end. That's probably for like a huge company, and your skill level's got to be there to get that. The majority are like in this median area. Like,
Fernando, we have a problem.
what
So
happened?
Casey Jack is trying to join, and it says that the voice channel is full. Is there a limit to the amount of people that we can have here on the channel? Right now it's 25.
I've
Can we increase
never. Yeah, let
the
me
limit?
look. I've never. You can go into the settings, I believe. I've never seen a limit.
It says that there is no limit, but
Yeah.
maybe our subscription doesn't allow more people to join. Okay, Casey is here.
Yeah, no
How many
limit.
people is that? 25 still. So yeah, we have a limit of 25. Can we change it? Can we modify it so we don't have that limit?
Maybe you'll have to check it out online. From what I knew, as far as I knew, as long as there was no limit, we should have been fine. Fine. I guess I could bump it up. I could say 99 users, and then try that. Time to
Yeah,
try that. See
let's
if
try that.
99 users works.
Casey was able to join, but we'll have 24 right now.
Okay.
I think it's the 5 limit. Let me see.
Yeah. Well, I changed the limit to 99 just to try it, just to see if that helps. All right. So back to the slides. See if you can get them in. For now, I want to just keep going for everybody else, unless everybody doesn't, mind me pausing, or we can go over
Yeah.
whatever we need to go
Okay,
over
I
with
can.
whoever joins.
It's for sharing the screen, so I'm gonna share mine screen so they can see it too.
Okay.
It's just a stream that.
So they're not able to join because the stream. All right. So the most I've seen in the median were about 90 to 100,000 range. That you're gonna see that's a little bit more common on, like, especially on like LinkedIn or other those larger platforms where they have big companies trying to hire people, but there's going to be a lot of competition. So like what I was talking about earlier about the job market, about the tech industry is booming, but the tech job market sucks because they did have a lot of layoffs, and everybody has their, if you research it, everybody has their own reasons why they laid off a bunch of people.
Fernando, I think your PowerPoint,
What about it?
because all I see is the dark mode list. I don't see your PowerPoint.
Mm, okay, hold on, give me a second. It should be there. I'm sharing my screen. Hold on, let me Yeah, it says I'm still streaming. Are you sure you don't see it?
Mhm.
So this whole time I've been sharing. Hold on, give me a second.
Yes, I cannot see it either.
So you can't see it, Tiffany?
Cannot see it. That is correct.
All right. What about now? Can you see it now? Were you guys able to see it before, or did this just happen now?
I wasn't able to see it before. I still cannot see your
All
screen.
right, let me try it again. Let me Okay, who's streaming right now? Is that just me streaming? Okay. Yeah,
I just see the Discord.
yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. I don't know what the problem was. Let me see. Screen two. Wait, hold on. Let me go to screen one and see if that helps. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Give me a second. Okay. So I don't know
Now I
if
can see
anybody's
it.
seen these. All right, back to the top. Back to the top, real quick. There we go. About me. I had told you guys about that. My career in coding. We talked about that already. I don't know if I should have to go through that again. I was right here on three, so where I left off was on three. So sorry about that. If you guys need to see anything again, let me know. Uh, but basically, there is data here in the blue writing, or there is other data, but you can look it up. Career in the tech industry is booming, but the job market sucks. Um, Everybody's got their reasons why the job market sucks. Um, Most of them said that they overhired during COVID, and most of them were saying that they were hiring people, and it suddenly started finding out that a lot of people that they were hiring didn't have the skill that they were supposed to have for the job. So, like, sadly, once in a while, you'll see people posting on LinkedIn. I don't know about sadly for them, but not sadly because they weren't ready yet. But basically, if you get fired, on your first day or your first week or your first month, that's basically why. Especially when they agreed to a contract to pay you a salary, and you get fired really fast, it's because you were able to pass the technical interview, but on the job you weren't able to perform at the level that they thought you were ready for. Um, because there are people they'll go into problem solving and they start memorizing problems. So like they'll get like they'll go on something like Leak Code and they'll go to like I want to apply for Google, so I want to see the type of problems Google's going to give me at a technical interview, and they'll look at those problems and they memorize how to solve those problems rather than knowing how to solve those problems from scratch. So all they did was basically a copy and paste type um, approach rather than approaching with your own mind, your own strengths, your own skills, and solving the problem fresh from scratch. That's the way you're supposed to do it. And then you're supposed to have language fluency, not just if you're a JavaScript developer, not just in vanilla JavaScript, but you should also have it in your framework. In vanilla JavaScript first, but it comes naturally once you have a strong foundation and fluency in vanilla JavaScript. Going to a framework is not that hard. It's a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier. But that's usually that would be the reason why is because we've had recently we had another for example we had a intern that we onboarded, and she was supposed to have the skill, and she graduated from a full stack boot camp, and the drawback was that when we put her to the test she couldn't even write a variable. So like that's how crazy it is out there. So you have people copying and pasting things. They're not really learning the way they should be learning. They somehow get through a course and they think they're ready, but in reality they're not because they have nobody there testing or nobody there really showing them how to program. I don't know how to describe it, but it's either there's a problem. I think it's both. There's a problem with some of these programs out there, and there's a problem with people maybe being lazy. They don't want to go through the motions and put in the work. Like they don't want to really um, do what they need to do to really nail down the skills they gotta have to be able to, even if they're gonna freelance, to be able to build something from scratch. But anyway, that's the job market. The job market does suck right now, but it is picking up a little bit. Companies did start hiring a little bit, and it's expected to keep picking up little by little because they are looking for top talent. So that's the word out on my network. They're saying that because I've got some senior engineers. Some of them are entrepreneurs, senior engineers that became senior engineers first, and then they became entrepreneurs. And they tell us what the scoop is down there, in Silicon Valley in the tech market. One of them was at the apprenticeship. She runs the apprenticeship, and she was telling me the news that she got was that it's going to pick up by the end of this year, beginning of this coming year. All right, so I'm getting echo. Is this somebody? Okay. All right, it went away. So I know one, and this is one of my connections. She owns multi-million-dollar companies. You can look her up online, Jessica McKellar, and she's like really well known in Silicon Valley and across the tech community. And she was one of my mentors, and she was the one telling us, I get my whatever word I hear from different areas in my network, and she's the one letting us know, hey, keep applying, keep your skills up to strong. If you're still looking for a job in tech, I'm trying to build my own company, but to anybody that's trying to get a job in tech at a company, the news would be, basically keep applying, keep working hard at um, strengthening your skill set, whatever it is, and because it's picking back up. The next slide, what about AI? So you're going to hear all these people out there talking about AI is going to take developer jobs. And to tell you the truth, I've done two events that were non-sponsored events where I demonstrated why AI right now can't take our jobs. So like if you're getting into development, or software engineering, or if you're already one, if you're already one, then you should already know. But if you're getting into it and you're wondering, well, should I be paying money or making the time or the investment into learning to do software engineering if AI can just do it for it's going to do it anyway and just it's going to make me getting a job there obsolete? That's a lie. People are going to say that whatever. You're going to hear people on like Twitter, tech Twitter, and other platforms where they're going to push their own agenda out there, try to get followers. They're gonna make all these crazy promises to you and whatnot. Buy my course, etc., or whatever the case may be. But they usually have an agenda for why they're pushing that nonsense out there. Because if they were really software engineers like they proclaim to be, and they really use AI like they proclaim, then they would know that AI is not at that level where it can take your job right now. So AI won't replace developers, but like it says down here, a developer that understands how to leverage AI will. So in other words, if you just learn how to code, if you learn how to be a web developer, whatever the case may be, whatever your path is in software engineering, and you think that's good enough these days, well, the word is it's not anymore. You got to be able to know how to pair program with AI. You got to know how to work with AI, how to generate, how to do generation with AI, whether it's content creation or AI images, AI content like videos, or whether it's pair programming to help you build software. You got to learn how to do all that. Um, and That's one thing I was going to go over because in the DarkMode Devs mentorship program, that is what we do. We're going to be teaching people how to pair program with AI and how to leverage AI as a developer. I'm not going to just show you, hey, look, this is how you code, and then and send you on your way with just that, because it's not good enough to just know how to code anymore. You got to know how to use that power, how to use AI, how to pair program with it, everything, because that's the new demand out, and it's going to stay that way. Because if you've noticed the industry, like I said, there's a lot of AI coming out, and a lot of industries using AI to their advantage, and you got to get on the train if you're going to stay relevant. Um, so there is a lot being a developer. It ain't just something like I'm gonna learn JavaScript or I'm gonna learn HTML and CSS, and you're gonna be magically worth 100,000 a year. It's not that easy. It is difficult. I'll get into that later. Um, so like this is a slide that we share from someone that got an entry level job making 70,000 a year at Microsoft, and this was his developer setup. Where he basically laying down and coding on his couch versus sitting in the chair. Which in one sense, for me, I'd probably fall asleep because I just get nice and comfortable. But at the same time, it wouldn't kill my back because I wouldn't be sitting in this chair for hours, right? So like I think he was pretty smart there. Uh, so why there's so much demand, I was gonna get into that next. Um, and whoop, here, let me click here so that way I can stop scrolling. There we go. The demand is high because it's a high barrier to learn. So like I tell people, okay, learning a little bit of HTML and CSS, okay, fine. That doesn't get you job ready, and that's the easy part. Like learning vanilla HTML and CSS, that's like the easy part. Um, Learning your programming language, how to really use it at an intermediate to advanced level, and learning how to use a framework, and then leveraging AI all at the same time, and then keeping up to date with your framework, whatever it is. And if you're a full stack developer, knowing both front end and back end languages, tools, technologies, or whether you're going to focus on just back end or front end, it's up to you. But especially as a full stack developer, you got to know, it's basically like you're a know it all. You got to know both sides of it. You got to know everything, and it's even more that you have to keep up with, even more that you have to be fluent with, more that you have to. It's just more. And yeah, it does give you more options to apply for a job. You can apply as a full stack, front end or back end developer, and as a whether it's in mobile app development, web app development, whatever the case may be, where at whatever company you have, it does give you more options because your skill set, like your knowledge, is wider. It's a little, it's spread out versus a front end developer can only apply for front end jobs. A back end developer is going to only apply for back end jobs. A full stack developer can apply for full stack front end or back end. So it does give you more options, but at the same time, if you're going to apply yourself, if you're going to learn full stack development, that's one thing. So learning it is one thing, so that way you can get a taste of all the fields there, and maybe check specialize or check, okay, maybe this is the one for me, this is the one I want. But actually practicing it and doing it and applying for that, then your level has to be, you have to be ready for that. You can't just um, apply for full stack if your skill set's not there, if you're not, if you're trying to demonstrate knowledge and it's not there. um, so I know I put here three options, and DarkMode Devs mentorship is included, but it's only because I recommend integrating it with one of these three options. So right now we're going to just talk about the first option, which it's called the luxury option, which is going to a university, getting a degree in computer science. At the end of that, if you didn't spend, about 120,000 up front for your 4 years of college, you're probably gonna owe that in the end. So it's a more expensive route, um, but you're gonna get more. So like I know the university I picked, it's different than most universities. They actually specialize in teaching tech, and they specialize in teaching software, and they have professors that, like, one of them worked at NASA, one of them worked at an AI company for 30 years. One, what I mean, like they all have like really big track records. Some of them don't, but you'll be able to spot them out quick, because like all universities, they're just trying to hire new talent, and then they're trying to hire talent that's been around for decades, but that really know the industry, or really know software. And those are the ones that if you can, you want to, like, when you pick your classes, you want to see if you can get to a professor that is really experienced, if you can. But anyway, what I learned at a university was a lot more in depth than what I learned at a boot camp. So like I'm gonna say, yeah, boot camp. When I get to that, the boot camp is like, I guess I could say it's a little crash coursey. It is better if you do have previous knowledge for a boot camp. In hindsight, because I had zero experience when I started my journey. I had zero experience. I've never done coding at all, nothing. And I started with New Camp Coding Bootcamp because I looked at it and I was like, oh, Coding Bootcamp is cheap. and they're giving me the same program that a lot of these other more expensive boot camps are giving me, so I'm gonna go for it. And I was able to complete it, and I did get good grades there. I did complete it. I did graduate. I did learn a lot there, but it's really, really fast paced. And if you're not the type that can keep up with the fast paced environment and getting like you barely have enough time to really solidify a concept before another concept gets thrown at you. That's how boot camps are designed, because they're designed to get you job ready as quickly as possible. Like something and it's an estimate. So like they're saying basically if you join a boot camp, they can get you job ready in 6 to 8 months. Some of them a year, right? But some people, depending on how much material they're going over, everybody learns or processes information differently. So not everybody can learn at that quick of a pace, or not everybody can memorize that much material at one time, or not everybody has the time to I guess practice the repetitive nature of it enough to be able to really solidify it in your mind. So like if you're working a full time job and you're gonna go to you're doing that's non-related to tech, and then you're trying to get into tech, and you're trying to maybe go part time for a boot camp, it's a little bit tough because there's people there that have all day to invest in that boot camp. They can afford to study all day. They can be there practicing it all day, but maybe you can't. You have other obligations in life. So that's what makes it harder. But if I believe with hard work, and commitment with anything is possible. There was people when I went to new camp. There was people that were full time there. They didn't have other obligations, and they got a job when they were done. There's people that did have other obligations. They had families to raise. They had a full time job. They took the boot camp part time, but when they finished, they still got a job. And new camp does have I think it's around, I'm just going to give a guesstimate because I don't have an exact number, but it's at around a 77, 78% um, job rate that they get, that they're so like that's how many out of 100% of the graduates, about 70 in the high 70s is about where they get hired into a tech field. So like they do have the data, like they have everything to prove it. And if anybody wants that data, I could talk to somebody and get you that'll get you that data. But new camp does have out of all the boot camps I saw I went there, was because they proclaim to have the highest hiring rate upon graduation. They were the most affordable. They had full time and part time, and I was able to make a payment, commit to a payment plan with it through one of their private lenders to go to the boot camp. So I was able to get approved by one of their lenders for a payment plan after I graduated. So I was able to take the whole boot camp. Then when I graduated, I was able to make start a monthly payment plan. But don't do that unless you're ready for that payment plan, because they are going to come at you, but it's only going to be probably about 100, 150 a month when you graduate. So like, yeah, the boot camps are about $3,000 to $5,000 a boot camp, but you're going to pay that off over maybe a couple years at 100, 150 bucks a month, something like that. But anyway, back to our luxury option, university. So the university, it was really in depth. The university, it's a lot of book and jargon, a lot of technical knowledge, and um, they do put it into practice. At the university I'm at, they make us build projects every week. Um, they try their best to make us do group work, but not everybody wants to join a group, which is the sad part of it. But like for example, at a university, I learned data structures and algorithms and big O analysis in way more depth than I learned it at Coding Bootcamp or on some Udemy course or things like that. The traditional boot camp, now where we just kind of talked about that, so I'm gonna kind of move through this one a little quick. But if you don't got 4 years to commit to college, there's the boot camp. They're all telling people we can get you in tech the quickest, 6 months to a year, depending on their program. Get you job ready. They are the cheaper route. Some boot camps are 10, 15, $20,000. Some of them I've seen were $40,000. But new camp's the cheapest one that I've ever seen. Like they let us know, hey, if anybody wants to go to a coding boot camp, we would challenge you to go find a cheaper boot camp than new camp coding boot camp. And I'm talking about one where you have a live instructor. I'm not talking about one where you just go copy and paste online and you don't have nobody. I'm talking about one where you have a live instructor, a classroom set up, where you have deadlines, things like that, like an actual boot camp. Those courses online, like these ones that say they're a coding boot camp, but you never have an instructor, you never really get to meet anybody. You pay, maybe hundreds of dollars just to copy and paste material. You know what I mean? It's a win-win for them. They ain't got to hire nobody to actually help you learn the material. But I'm talking about an actual coding boot camp, a real coding boot camp. New Camp Coding Bootcamp is probably the cheapest one. Um, they do the research. They claim they are the cheapest one and that they have the highest rates upon graduation for hire. Or you could teach yourself online, which is the cheapest route, right? But it is the cheapest route. You can spend nothing, or you can spend whatever you can afford or whatever you want. Basically, if you don't want to spend this money, you don't have to. There's a lot of resources online. You can try to teach yourself, but you don't have no direction. You're not going to know where to start, what direction you're going. Maybe you might be able to research maybe on what tech stack you should learn or what you should be learning that's in demand at these companies if you plan to work for a company, like things like that. Teaching yourself, you're a little more in the dark because that's where I started. So, like, I know I said I started at a coding boot camp, but before the coding boot camp idea even got put into motion, I started through one of my brothers. So one of my brothers, he graduated from a computer science at a university. He got a computer science degree, and he doesn't even use it. But I figured at the time, because I didn't have a degree in computer science or nothing, and I was thinking, well, let me go to my younger brother. Maybe he knows a little more about the current industry than I do, which was a little bit error. But his idea was, hey, brother, you don't need to go to college. You can learn everything on YouTube, right? You can go to Udemy. You can learn how to program. You can learn how to build an app. You can do this. You can do that. Everything's for free out there. But the reality was that when I tried to do that, that it isn't what some people are able to do it, and I guess from what I've heard, those are really rare. I've only met like maybe two people out of my whole network that were able to do that, but I wasn't able to do that. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. I felt lost. I didn't know nothing about the tech industry. I didn't even have a network of anybody in tech that I can reach out to. I wasn't sure how to build that network or where to start. Um, I didn't know what to learn. I knew I wanted to make apps on the phone. I had some ideas for some apps. I'm like, I want to make an app, or I had if I wanted to make my own website, how would I do that? And there was all these different directions you could take, and I didn't know which one I should be taking. So that's when I started. I ran into when you start Google and all these things start taking your data when you're searching around online, and that's when I found out about coding boot camps. Of course, they hustled me through my data. Basically, it started showing me coding boot camps. I started clicking on them, and they started showing me more coding boot camps, and that's how I found New Camp. And then I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go with the coding boot camp because I have somebody showing me a direction. They're telling me what the in-demand skills are. Um, I have I have a roadmap basically. So that's why I started at a coding boot camp. But in hindsight, the coding boot camp is a harder option if you don't have the time to put into it, and if you're not a fast-paced learner. If you need to take your time and like digest information a little more slowly, because the coding boot camp's not going to wait for you. The university don't even wait for you, but they're a little bit slower paced. That's why it takes longer to complete. But the coding boot camp ain't gonna wait for you. They're gonna be throwing things at you every week, consistently, every week. And if you're still in last week's material and you're in a new week, well, too bad. Now you got more work to do. It just keeps moving because they have to keep moving, and the instructor is going to do their best to teach you or to make sure that you're learning the material and that you're putting it into practice on the projects that you build there, because they do have you build projects there as well. But teaching yourself online, yeah, that's a tough one. So talking about DarkMode Devs mentorship, I would suggest people. I'm gonna, I guess, show a demo of that, but I was gonna show people basically, or tell people that you should be combining that. So like what I'm saying is that if you're self-taught, or you're going to university, or you're going to a boot camp, or you're doing a combination of those things, mentorship is like um, so when I took, I guess I could say I did 8 months at that software engineering apprenticeship, and I was mentored by senior software engineers. I learned a lot there that I never learned, that I would have never learned that, or that I didn't learn at the university, and that I would have never learned at the coding boot camp. It's just the way it is. Like they're there teaching you industry practices or best practices. They're showing you industry level code. They're showing you how to obtain language fluency at an industry level. They're showing you how to build industry level applications. So like they'll show you applications that are small scale, that are high scale, really large scale, and then they'll show you how you can how you're supposed to navigate those. They show you some DevOps, like they show you they make sure that they emphasize really hardcore like how important data structures and algorithms were. And I really didn't know, like, you have all these mixed opinions online. There's going to be people that tell you you don't need data structures and algorithms. They don't know what they're talking about. Because I'm telling you right now, whether you're going to be a front end developer or a back end developer or a full stack developer or any software engineer, even in AI or data science or wherever you're going to go, data structures and algorithms depend, especially in web development world or the application development world. It's what optimizes the performance of your application. It's what makes it run right. Like it makes it do what you intend for it to do, and it optimizes its speed. Because some data structures are meant to store data differently, and the way you access that data, you got to make sure you know your stuff so you know how you can access it at the most optimal level. Because that's what these companies are going to want. They don't want just that front end, that pretty front end to show up pretty. They want it to show up like in snappy, like quick, within a second or less. Like most companies, they want their page to load up in like faster than your eye could probably see it if it's possible. Like they try to get as close to under a second as they can. But like if you research online, they say 1 to 3 seconds is decent. I say 1 second or less you have, because I've been on websites. If it's taking longer than a second and I still think loading on the screen, I'm gone. I don't even want to deal with it. It kind of feels like a slow, crummy site. But they'll say within 1 to 3 seconds is okay. But that's just where data and structure algorithms and data structures and algorithms come into play. Is they come into play heavily. Yeah, there's a lot of and it's a little bit less on the front end, and it's a lot more heavier on the back end where you're applying that skill set. And then in full stack development, while you're applying it everywhere, but like mostly on the back end still. Um, but it's still relevant because when you're trying to build something, for example, in JavaScript or your framework, knowing your data structures and algorithms really well, it helps you build that even better than if you didn't know it really well. Yeah, you can just get something working, but when it's time to go back and optimize it, you know enough of you have your technical knowledge and your skill high enough where you can go back, rewrite it, make it faster, make it better, make it just make it better. That's what they want. They want you to be able to speed up the process and create a good user experience. And the best way to do that is to have that high level knowledge of data structures and algorithms. And there is a difference between knowing data structures and algorithms at a computer scientist level and at a software engineering level. So some people mix those up. So like I've met somebody that actually he was in my network through his wife. So his wife was my senior mentor, but I met him because she introduced me to him, and he was working at a company as a computer scientist, and all he does is build for them, build solutions that you're not going to see anywhere else in other companies that make their whatever software they're building even better. So he's applying data structures and algorithms, big O analysis at a level that you're not even going to probably see online, like at a whole other level. Like he gave me a demonstration of it, and I was like, boom! Like my mind was like blown away. I was like, whoa! Like this guy was smart. But not everybody's got to be at that level. Um, I mean, like at a level that maybe you might see online, or at a level like I'll show people in the mentorship program, um, which is a little bit higher than a boot camp, which will probably be more at a university level. That's really what you need to really apply it. in a job setting, or even if you're going to just build your own app. Say you have an idea for an app, you're like, you know what, I want to build this thing. You just have to be at a certain level to be able to pull that off and do it right. Because eventually your skill will get so high, you're going to look at some of these apps in the app store or online, these websites, and you're going to see how terrible they really are. There's some people just throwing stuff out there, and you can tell they don't have the knowledge to really do it right. The 7 key strategies here are from New Camp Coding Bootcamp. They say that if you apply these 7 key strategies, you go from 5 to 15% to 70 to 85% more likely of finishing your online learning. If you're just doing, this is just online learning though. This is like if you went to like YouTube videos or Udemy or whatever.
Can you try turning off your video? I'm still trying to fix the 25 people limit
Oh my
on
goodness.
the thing.
Yeah.
So, let
Here,
me.
go ahead. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'll
went
have
to the
to
settings
just turn
and
off
I
your
put,
video. That's it, and then you can keep streaming just to try that out. See if that helps.
maybe it is, maybe it's me on the video. I don't know.
Okay, you need this one right here.
Yeah. All right. So um, they say like straight up demonstrating upfront commitment. You need to put skin in the game. Everybody does that with everything. Anything that's charging you for a service or to show you something, that's putting skin in the game. Because if you're putting money into it, you're more likely to show up. Was one reason. You're likely to complete it. But like Udemy, for example, I'm gonna get into that. Why, even if you paid 50 or $100 for a Udemy course, why most people never complete it? And it's because you don't have somebody there like live with you. You're not meeting with live with an instructor or a mentor. You're not live with somebody actually doing it with you. You're just watching a recording, copying and pasting, and you paid a good money for that. And it's like me, I've done that route before, and I thought it was a waste of money. So like I've tried Udemy before. I thought it was a waste of money, especially at the level that most of those courses are at. They're teaching you at a very beginner level and talent, promising you the world at the end of that. And I guess you get what you pay for in a way, but at the sense, I think they're charging too much. So like for example, if someone's charging you a certain amount, for a mentorship, and courses should be cheaper than that. Like for example, if, me as with this mentorship program, if I'm mentoring you, I'm already giving you 50% off right now, which is a good deal. It's making it pretty cheap. But if I put my own course out there online where you're gonna watch a recording and follow along with me, I'm gonna put it out there either for less. I'm not gonna put it out there for the same amount of money because you don't have that live interaction with me. You can't just DM me and be like, "Hey, I'm working on this assignment you gave me, or I'm working on whatever project we're building. I need help with this or that." Right? Like you don't have that live interaction. Like at a coding boot camp, you get that. Like at a university, you get that. At a university, you can reach out to your peers or your professor, and you set up a meeting or whatever, and you can get issues like that resolved. Same thing with a coding boot camp. You have a network too of other students or instructors that are ready to help you. The mentorship program, DarkMode Devs, we're right here ready to help you. Udemy course, where are they at? YouTube course, where are they at? They're ready to take your money, but they ain't ready to help you, right? Like their definition of helping you was copy and paste this recording I'm giving you. And I'm telling you right now, like that's like if you've tried that and it's failing, it's not your fault. It's just I think it's just a bad design, a bad way for people to learn a technical skill that they need to apply at a high level to really get a job or to even freelance. Like if you want to go on something like Upwork and compete, um, you have to be at a level higher than that video is going to show you. Um, you need real deadlines. Number two, so like that's another thing. I'll be giving you deadlines. New camp coding boot camps, they're going to give you deadlines. A university, they're going to give you deadlines. What about Udemy or YouTube or any of these other things? I'm not trying to knock Udemy or these other places. They're a legit business, whatever they want to do. But think about that. There is no deadline. You can have that attitude like, you know what, I'm going to do it when I feel like it. Or I'm going to do it later. I don't want to do it right now. But with the mentorship program, with the coding boot camp, with the university, you can't do that or you're going to fail. You're going to get kicked out the program or you're going to fail because nobody wants, like me, I don't want to take your money. Like me, if you paid me money and you're just not going to put in the time and commitment, and I see you're just, you're just gonna, I'm gonna do it when I feel like it attitude. I'm just gonna tell you, you know what, bye. You're wasting my time and your time, and you're not gonna get anywhere like that. So I'm not even gonna take your money, but that Udemy course is. They're gonna take your money, right? And they're not even gonna give you deadline. You're not even gonna have nobody there for you. They don't care if you get a job in the end, even though they claim you do. But think about that. Like think about that. Like how do you really want to learn? And I know I sound cruel sometimes, but I'm just being real with you because I don't like seeing people like me. I don't. I if I could go back in time and take away all that money I spent on courses like that, I'd do it like in a heartbeat because they were a waste of damn time. And the skills I got that I apply today ain't even from those videos. They're from things like the apprenticeship program, the university, the boot camp, and me putting my own skills into practice. The videos where they do benefit you, this is what I'm gonna tell you where the videos do benefit you. So I'm not completely against the videos. So like say for example you want to build a certain component and you're like, I don't know how to do that from memory, so I'm gonna research it. But you already have a good knowledge of your framework. Well, you could just go to the documentation and research it, or maybe there's a video online you can watch because you already have the knowledge. Like it's easy to just what they're telling you, what they're trying to tell you on the video, you just get it already. You can process it already, and you're like, okay, I got this, and you can go back and apply it. You're not copying and pasting code along with somebody that's not even really explaining every syntax of that code. Like you have to really be able to break down your code at a high level and understand what it's doing, how it's working, whether it's under the hood or on its face. If you're gonna really like get at that level where you're hireable. The type of learning they're talking about here is like combining basically coursework that's done by yourself and coursework that's done with peers and an instructor. So like you get that with a university, a boot camp, or mentorship program. You get the synchronous, asynchronous learning style. Um, Peer pressure, basically, de- depending on how many people join the mentorship, or how many people are in a boot camp class, or how many people are in a university class. Um, it's good when you have your peers work, when you get the peer pressure, peers working together. Everybody, like the mentorship program, when we do projects, we're gonna do them as a team. There's like, you know what I mean. There's not gonna be no um, here I'm gonna give you this thing to build it on your own type deal. You're gonna build it like with other people. So like but you need the peer pressure. You gotta have it. Like so like when I was at the boot camp, it helped me. I guess I could say um, what helped me there was the networking. So like even though a lot of the students at the boot camp didn't want to work with me, some of them did. There's a lot of them that did. So like some of them, like I would say if I had a class of 15, because that's how new camp structures their classes, they have 15 students in a class. Maybe 10 of them didn't want to work with me, but 5 of them did, right? And we got the assignment done. They helped me. Two of them had previous experience, and they were there updating their knowledge in a new framework. They wanted to learn React Native, get up to date with React Native, so they were there for the same classes I was there for. They had previous experience, so they were able to really, really help me and help me understand what I was doing, and that's all I needed. Even if it was one person, hell, that's all I needed. Even one of those guys would have been good enough. But like, at a video, you don't get that. At a video, you don't get no peer pressure. You don't got nobody doing work with you, working on a project with you. You don't get to see other people's coding styles. You don't get the feedback on what I can do to improve myself to be better at what I'm doing. And that's where you and your work need to be seen comes important because your instructor needs to see it or your mentor, and also your peers need to see it. So that way, like when everybody's sharing their work, they see what's right, what's not right, how we can make things better, what needs improvement, how we can do things better, how we make things the first iteration, and how we go back and optimize it and make it even better the second time or the third time or the fourth time, whatever it takes to get it to a level where we feel like, you know what, this is good. Now we can go to the next, like you don't get that from just watching videos online or just reading some book you bought online. Um, you need, and of course incentives. So some people, the incentive, whether it's I can take this skill and apply it to get a job in tech, or I can get the skill, start my own company, or I can get the skill, become a freelancer, like use a freelancing platform, or just for the some people they like the certificates. I want a certificate, or maybe there's an internship. You know what I mean? Like at DarkMode Devs, where we want to do the mentorship program, but for people that perform really well and can actually demonstrate that they really learned. Well, I'm gonna know anyway, one way or the other, right? But if they can really actually show me that they can demonstrate, they can pass a technical interview, then why not? Then I'll give them the shot at joining our mentorship or our internship program as well. Um, it's just because I don't guarantee it for everybody, because everybody's gonna approach things at a certain way. I don't think everybody's gonna approach it the same way. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You need assignments that actually help you get a job. So like that's that one right there. And that's what these coding boot camps. That's what their job is supposed to be. Their job is supposed to be that you're paying all this money for my boot camp, and at the end of it, you should be job ready. But they can't guarantee that. They don't say that. Of course, they're not going to advertise that, but they can't guarantee that, because the truth is, it's all on you. Like how much you're going to put into it. Like how serious are you about it? Are you going to just go take that boot camp and then think that because you somehow made it through it and you got a certificate that you're job ready now? No, you got to demonstrate that. Like you have to have that knowledge and you have to demonstrate that you're ready, because they're not just going to hand you $100,000 a year, especially in today's market. They're even tougher now. Um, so what options check all these boxes? Well, the Coding Bootcamp, New Camp, because that's they're sponsoring us at this event right now, and they do have some of those strategies, or those 7 strategies we talked about. They do have it built into their Coding Bootcamp, but so does DarkMode Devs mentorship, and so does the university to some extent. You know what I mean? Depending on your university, I know everybody. I've talked to different people. Different people have had different experiences with universities. Um, some people have different experiences with boot camps. Um, everybody's experience is different, but they should have those things built into it. Um, I guess on this one, I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but okay, so like the boot camps, new camp offers, I'm gonna quickly go over those. They have a web development fundamentals boot camp. That one is basically if you have zero knowledge at all, that's where you're going to want to start. You want to start there because you have zero knowledge. If you go straight to like a more serious boot camp, like front end web development, for example, and you have zero experience, you're not going to succeed because you don't have the fundamentals. You don't have the foundational knowledge that you need to work through the front end web development or any other or the full stack development or the back end. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Um, but they do have different programs there. They have front end web and mobile for people that just want front end development. They have the full stack one. That's the one I took, and right now it's actually cheaper. So it's cheaper than when I took it. So that's the benefit. And they have back end SQL, DevOps. So what you're learning in the front end web and mobile is JavaScript and JavaScript frameworks, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, CSS framework, and you're learning those same things in full stack development, except you're learning a back end. On the back end, you're going to learn Node.js, Express, MongoDB, things like that. All APIs, but really REST APIs. Working with that database like MongoDB, using Postman to test your database, things like that. Backend SQL, DevOps with Python. You're going to be learning Python. So on this last one, backend SQL with DevOps, that's a Python course. Your primary language is going to be Python. So like if you want to be a Python developer on the back end, this is the course that they have. Um, and then at the end, when you graduate, they also have a job hunting boot camp. So like they spend 4 weeks getting you interview ready, going over your algorithms and data structures, networking, setting up your networking profiles, setting up your resume, getting everything for you ready so that way you can job hunt. So that's they just added that. Back when I went, they didn't have this, but now they do, and it's a lot better than it was. Because back when I graduated, they sent me somebody that did something similar, and he showed me how to get my resume on point, how to build my LinkedIn profile, how to apply to jobs on LinkedIn, and how to do networking on LinkedIn. But they didn't have data structures and algorithms where they were doing interview prep for like a technical interview before. I had to learn that on my own and during the apprenticeship. But now they do. Now supposedly I haven't seen the program because I'm not a student anymore. I have access to the full stack program because at New Camp they give you lifetime access to the bootcamp materials, and when they update, you keep access to that. But I never got to take the job hunting program, so I'm not sure. I'm not going to tell you, what it exactly entails, but I do know from what they've told us that it does have interview prep in it and all the other things I told you it had. Uh, the complete software engineering bootcamp they have too, and what this one does is it teaches you everything. So like on this one, it's going to give you the fundamentals. It's going to give you full stack, back end with DevOps and Python and SQL, and then it's going to give you job hunting at the end of it. So like the complete software engineering path that the bootcamp offers, it has everything. It's expensive, but it has everything. It has everything that you can take combined into one bootcamp, which is cool. If I could go back and take it, that's the one I would have taken. But they didn't have it at the time I went. Um, so we went over these 7 strategies already. I'm not going to go over those again. But we talked about New Camp being affordable, flexible, and structured, and that's the type of program you want to pick. Universities, it's not necessarily affordable, but it's they're making it flexible because they make it online, part-time and full-time classes, and it is structured with a professor and your peers. The DarkMode Devs mentorship, it's affordable, flexible, and structured. New Camp Coding Bootcamp, it's affordable, flexible, and structured, but it's affordable if because not everybody has $3, $4, $5,000 to throw out a boot camp up front. But it's affordable if you qualify for a payment plan. If you're with one of their servicers, if you can't pay that money up front. But these are all, I guess, stories of people that have completed the boot camp and gotten jobs after new camp after they finish new camp, and there's a lot of them. There's more than just on these slides. I just wanted to click through them really quick so you can see. Um, if you do decide to register for a coding bootcamp, if that's what you're here for, a coding bootcamp, and you want to register to a coding bootcamp, a new camp coding bootcamp, you can DM me if you'd like, but I can get you 5% off registration, and I can get you the early bird discount, which gets you another discount off of the total price of the bootcamp. And I would say please use my link. So my link is that's my link. That link does pay me if you use it. Gives me a small, gives me a little something. If you do use my link, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that new camp doesn't pay me because they do pay me a little bit. Q&A, and that's where we're getting into the Q&A right now. So, anybody have questions about anything that I've talked about, or maybe they have questions about something else related? Yeah, so like I finished the slides. Oh, wait, hold on. How do we get out of here?
Did you
End
finish the
show.
slide?
I got it. Yeah.
All right. Let me see. Stop streaming. Somebody's asking for the PDF file. Psychro is asking for the PDF file of the presentation.
Oh, the PDF file. I could probably post that somewhere for you if you like. Maybe in the channel, one of these channels somewhere. Um, if you want to, it's really a PowerPoint presentation, so it might be a PowerPoint file. I'll see if I can convert it to PDF and send it like that if I can.
And 7N Hinani is asking for does it include cybersecurity?
No, so New Camp Coding Bootcamp does not do cybersecurity, and DarkMode Devs Mentorship is not going to be cybersecurity either. We will be going over like security on a web development level, like what every developer that's going to be a web developer, what they should know as far as security goes, but it's not going to be like in depth like a cybersecurity level. That's like a whole other field. If you want to do like cybersecurity, I can. I have. I'd have to reach out in my network because I do have a network of guys that do cybersecurity, and I can ask them if they can get you, maybe point you in the right direction for cybersecurity if that's what you're into. Okay. All right. So then I can go ahead and DM you seven. I could DM you. I'll after the meeting, I'll reach out on my network and I'll get somebody. I actually there's also a big network of. You know what? Let me get the link for you right now. Give me 1 second, because I have there's another cybersecurity network that I network with on LinkedIn, and they're a really great network. They're probably the best one that can. Where's he at? No. Uh,
You're trying to send her a link to the community.
no, I'm gonna send her a link to one of my connections on LinkedIn, and he runs a big Discord community. Um,
You don't have the Discord link.
mm, they have to give you access to join to join their stuff.
Okay, private.
Yeah,
Send it over to the web dev meetings chat. So if anybody else is interested, they can join and they
yeah.
can
I was
connect
putting
with
it
it
right
too.
here in the web dev meetings chat.
Yeah.
This guy, his name's Jack Neely. He's I met him on LinkedIn. He has a cybersecurity platform on Discord. They're called Work Smarter, and they're all cybersecurity guys. So like for someone like Seven, if you're into cybersecurity, connect with that guy on LinkedIn. Um, I tell him that you want to get on his Work Smarter platform on Discord, and he'll send you the invite because they have. I'm pretty sure they have to let you in. They don't just let people go in. They have to allow you to. They have to give you permission to get in there. But it's a really good network. When I was looking into cybersecurity back when I first started learning, um, they are a good network and they have a huge network there. There's gonna be like when if you post a question about learning cybersecurity there, there's gonna be a lot of people reaching out to you really quick. So like it's a good place to go, or at least a good community to have. If you're gonna get into cybersecurity, they'll help you point you in the direction of what you should be learning or what path you should take for that. New Camp Coding Bootcamp does not do cybersecurity,
They
but
do. They have a. I have found the link to their Discord right now.
okay, post that in the chat then too.
I'll do that. He has it on the post. Actually, wait, connection not privacy.
Nah, nah. Yeah, see, but I'm pretty sure because they had to allow me into their network back then. They had to approve me to get on their network. Um, but anyway, just reach out to him and connect with him, Seven or anybody else interested in cybersecurity, and they'll get you into their. There
Here's
you
the
go.
Discord link
Yeah,
to join it.
and to ask your questions there. That's a good cybersecurity platform. They're not. They don't like. You'll have people there that are there for more than cybersecurity, but they're mainly cybersecurity. A lot of them are cybersecurity professionals, and they're a pretty cool community. Yeah, I would recommend going there and asking cybersecurity questions. Yeah, no problem. Um, yeah, if I can help anybody, like with anybody in my network, or any questions that I don't know, I can ask my network and get back to you. Yeah, I'll do it. Um, but yeah, that's a good network, good cybersecurity network. At the university, they're depending on the university, they're gonna teach cybersecurity. Like the university I go to, they do have a cybersecurity program, but not all universities do. And then you want to make sure they're fully accredited. So like the university I go to, they're fully accredited. They're like regionally and nationally accredited, so they're fully accredited. Your degree is going to accept it everywhere, and they got government agencies hiring the students from that university. So the university I go to, they get their students hired to places like the CIA or the FBI or the Department of Security, like some government agency like um, Homeland Security or something like that. Like they got like especially in their cybersecurity, they got a big cybersecurity program there, and they get a lot of people. A lot of their students get hired at government agencies there. So like that's consequently what's going to happen. Like usually for what I've seen is not everybody, but most people that get into cybersecurity, the government wants to get them, especially if they keep their GPA high 4.0 GPA. If you try to keep that GPA high, you'll probably have somebody reaching out to you at some point recommending that you go to um, whoever's program to for an internship or something.
Hi, Davis. Welcome to the party. You're a little late, but it's all right. You missed a cool presentation. Everybody was so excited and pumped up and participating in the presentation. Uh, but yeah,
Anybody
welcome.
else have questions?
Melo says he's interested in. I don't know if he or she. Melo, you can speak up. You can unmute yourself and speak up. We don't have Melo muted, right? Yeah, Melo's not muted. He can unmute himself. We do need to mute Davis though. He's a little background noisy.
Well, maybe Davis can mute himself
So
for us.
Melo says, I'm interested in becoming Python programmer with huge interest in machine learning. Is it embedded in the backend package, or do you have specific pathways for the machine learning track?
For the okay, so like when I'm learning right now, because I'm learning AI at the university, and I'm learning machine learning, all that stuff at the university. So like from what I've seen, the university's teaching a lot of that. I haven't seen a boot camp yet that's teaching something like that or at that level because the cold fact is that if you're trying to get into software engineering and the artificial intelligence side of or field of things, uh, the majority of them, if not all of them, are going to require a university degree. They're going to want you to have a bachelor degree to get into either internships or their apprenticeships or even just to consider you for hire because the level of knowledge you have to learn because you have to have a high level you have to have like college high level mathematics and you have to know like really in-depth artificial intelligence, neural networking, machine learning, how it's all related, how it all works together, everything. Like you have to really know it really well. So like large language models, they train you on all that stuff that I've gotten from a university. I mean, I could train people on that stuff, like on a mentorship side of things, but that would be like a whole separate mentorship, not related to full stack web and mobile development. And you're going to want it to be hand in hand with the university because I can't promise you if I teach you AI, it's going to make you hireable because a lot of AI jobs they want a bachelor's degree in computer science or artificial intelligence. So like my degree at the university I go to, I'm getting a bachelor degree in computer science, and it's going to be a double major in artificial intelligence. So like I have the option of double majoring and getting two bachelor's degrees, while I'm getting one for both computer science and artificial intelligence. And I'm learning a lot about artificial intelligence at the same time. And when I've looked at jobs online, the vast majority of them want computer science or related degrees for artificial intelligence jobs. But yeah, I could mentor somebody on artificial intelligence, show them how to build a large language model locally, or or on some hosting environment somewhere on a cloud or whatever we choose. But like that's like a whole different field compared to full stack web and mobile development. But at the same time, you're gonna want to combine that. So like you want to get to a point where, for me, I want to get to a point where my company where I'm combining that full stack knowledge with my AI knowledge, and I'm building like next level stuff. So like that's the positive or the plus about learning that in combination.
I just
But
posted
okay,
your link into the chat. Let me send it
well
to
actually, I should
Mello.
rephrase something. I can't promise you anything, and if anybody anywhere you go is promising you, making you promises, always see that as a red flag because nobody can promise you anything unless you put the commitment. That time and commitment in is important, and you have to apply yourself. Like I can't just say, "Hey, if you take my program, you're gonna get a guaranteed job," because you have to have the skill set. I'll tell you the truth. Whether you make it to the end or not, more than likely, if you don't have the skill set, you won't make it to the end because I'm not going to be the type that tries to sell you a dream to the end I'll tell you whether the career is for you or not, like based off of the way we work together. Or I'll tell you if you just need more work, more commitment, or your weak places. Me or Irina, we'll pick you apart, especially me. But like not in a bad way. It's not to bring nobody down. It's to bring you up, to make you better. But to also so that way you're not going to waste your time. Like, okay, I wanted to do this, but it's not for me, basically. Or I want to do this and I know it's for me now. I love it. I can do it. I'm understanding it. You have to be able to wrap your mind around the concepts and apply them without copying and pasting. So that's the big thing about it, is that you have to really learn at a high level. You have to know how to explain the concepts at a simple level, but you also got to know how to explain them at a high level and understand them and apply them without copying and pasting stuff online, or without using AI to try to build something. Build like some people they have these courses online where they're saying, I'll show you how to have AI build you a multi-million-dollar website. Well, they're full of it because I could show you or demonstrate how I've done before, how AI, even if we use like Chat GPT 4 or like GitHub Copilot. Yeah, but no, but GitHub Copilot I'm talking about. Even if we use these tools from Microsoft or OpenAI, they can build you a basic website, but they can't build it at the level that a human being can. That's what I mean is they can't build it at that level visually, and they can't give you the code, for example, where it's where the code's always perfect or where it's on point, because there's a lot of errors that are like if you don't know coding, you're gonna see the code AI is giving you, you're gonna think, oh yeah, I got this, this is good, yeah, until you start applying it, and then you don't know how to debug because you're not a developer. You don't know how to debug. You don't know how to see that AI lied to you. That AI that gave you code, bogus code, because it does. It gives you good code and it gives you bad code, and it's not at that level where it can do all the work for you. It can't design a really nice and front end. It can't design a flawless back end like a human being can. Like there's a lot of these things that AI can't do yet. So like people saying that, promising you that AI can build you a multi-million-dollar company, it can if you use it together with your knowledge, with your skill set. So like if you're already a developer and you have a strong skill set and you're going to use pair AI with that and put it to work, yeah, then it can. But if they're going to tell you that you have zero knowledge in software and that you can leverage AI to build you a large scale application that's going to make you millions of dollars, they're full of it. They're lying to you, and it's not going to work. You can go put your money there and learn by experience if you don't want to learn, by my word. But you can go put your money there if you like, and go buy somebody's course, and you can find out for yourself that you can't leverage. The AI is not there, because if it was, um, all these coding boot camps would have shut down already. Universities might as well shut down their computer science degrees and all these other degrees, because AI is already ready to do all the work for us, right? I could build a company and just get AI and make it build software for me, and I don't have to build it myself, and I could probably potentially be a millionaire probably within a year just leveraging AI. If I had built a business where AI is just doing all the work for me, why not? That sounds nice, like the dream they're selling everybody. I think one day it's probably gonna get there, depending, but I think we're a long way from there. But like, but that's the dream they're trying to sell everybody. But that's not the reality. The reality is developers ain't gonna be replaced anytime soon. So, and the reality is if everything's going this direction in tech and you're not gonna jump on the train, you're just gonna get left behind, because AI is going to take away a lot of people's jobs, like as far as the non-developer jobs, probably. Like, for example, they're already taking away like people automating phone calls on a cold or hot list with leads, like marketing. You know what I mean? They're taking away some graphic design jobs, not necessarily graphic designers' jobs, but they're taking away like because they're going to use AI to generate an image instead of hiring a graphic designer to do it, right? So like, there's some jobs that are already getting affected by it, but like as a software engineer, you're not going to be affected by it right now
As
negatively.
a graphic designer, I can say that a lot of graphic works is automated, but designers are moving into automating those works because we still need the creative eye to look and say, okay, that looks right, or okay, that doesn't look right, and use the AI to help with those changes. Regular people are able to use AI to do some work, just like they used to do before with creating their own logo, putting it up on their storefront instead of using somebody as a professional. Right now, the professionals are learning how to use AI so they stay current, up to date.
See, so same deal. Like in software engineering, same deal. What the companies want right now, or what anybody wants, is people that know how to leverage AI. When you're first learning, um, it's good not to leverage AI to let it do the simple work for you, because you still have to memorize or solidify the simple concepts and fundamentals. You really want to have those memorized. But at the same time, it's good to start learning how to use it, so that way when you do have it memorized and you start going into like an intermediate to advanced level, you're leveraging AI to speed up development. So like that's all you're doing, is you're like leveraging AI to help you put things together quicker, but it's not doing all the work for you, because you still have to check the work that AI is doing for you. AI does not like this little magic wand that you're gonna wave and have a multi-million-dollar app in business in overnight. You know what I mean? So like anybody selling that dream online, they're full of it. Like straight up, like that's not the reality. The reality is that you got to put in the time, the commitment, and you got to learn the skill. And there are skills in each field of software engineering that are gonna, they're gonna have things that they feel are more desirable to skill sets to have than others. And I know in full stack web development, or any web development, front end, back end, full stack, everybody wants a developer that doesn't just have the skill like built into them, like they have a really good skill set, but they want them to know how to leverage AI too, because it speeds up development. So like building an application with GitHub Copilot, if you already know how to do coding and you know how to check the work that it's doing for you, speeds up development. It right out the gate, you get boilerplate code just done for you. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's just commonly used code that is really repetitive, that you're going to use across applications, depending on what framework you're using. This is going to be just basically the same code that you're going to see in every application. They call it boilerplate code. Um, AI can do that on the fly, really quick, just generate it for you, and that helps. That speeds it up. You ain't got to write all that out yourself now. But like when you get into like the meat and potatoes, I guess you could say, um, of of uh,
Philip.
of software. Yeah, of software. Well, because that's what it says. It's, they call it the
That's
milk.
what he says.
Like the milk, they call it the milk. No, but they call it the milk. No, I'm talking about, like, I ain't trying to get all biblical on everybody, but if anybody's ever read religion, they have a comparison where they talk about like a child level learning, or
That's
like the
where it's
easy
from.
things, yeah, or like the easy things you learn. It's like drinking milk. Like, I'm gonna drink this milk. It's easy, right? But when you turn into an adult and you gotta start chewing food and you want to learn like the bigger things in life, that's where we get into the meat and potatoes of things, right? So like that's what I'm trying to talk about here, is that like there's different levels of things, and you want to know how to leverage AI when you get there. When you're first learning, you don't want to make the mistake of letting AI do auto completes and generating everything for you, because when you're in a technical interview or when you're at a company, there's going to be things that are already expected of you. Like, there's going to be things that right out the gate you're expected to just do. Whatever tasks they give you, you should be able to do them without help. You should be able to go online, know how to research and do the work yourself. If you don't know how to do it, or you never done it before, you know how to do it. Like, you know how to research it and learn it. That's why they say being a developer is a lifelong learner, because they might ask you to develop something that don't even exist yet, and you're working on a team. Well, you guys got to put your minds together and do the research and learn and apply your skills in a way that to build something that hasn't even been done yet, right? So like, they're paying you to do that. Like, I'm not gonna give somebody $90,000 just to cut and paste off some website somewhere, right? Like, who's gonna do that? They want people like that come in at a high level, like they call it top talent. They want these people that are top talent, that know how to write software from scratch. Like, they don't need, like, okay, knowing, like, for example, for JavaScript documentation, I use Mozilla Developer Network. I use MDN. I'll go to the MDN docs for JavaScript, right? So I'm not saying that you don't need that, because everybody, it's good to reference that. There's no way you can memorize all of that. It's always updated. There's so much things being added to JavaScript. It's insane. But they want you to know how to already understand that, read it, and use it, and rewrite it to tailor it specifically to your specific use case, not just copy and paste it off the net and you got it to work, but you don't understand how you got it to work. or you can't even read the code because you don't understand how to read the syntax. That's not what they want. So like the mentorship program or like the boot camp or like a university, that's what how they should be breaking it down to you. Like that's the level they should be getting you to where you understand how to apply it, you understand how to read it, you know what you're doing. You could take something off the net and rewrite it and customize it to your specific use case, like if you need to, or you can just write it from scratch yourself. Just look at the MD and docs. I'm gonna write this custom code myself. I already know what I'm doing. That's the kind of people they want to hire. They don't want the guy that goes on like they make the jokes online. They go to Stack Overflow and just cut and paste code into their code base, and they got it to work, but they don't know how they got it to work. Like those are jokes, but those are the kind of moves that are gonna get you fired, like straight up. Like those are the type of does like when you're going into a company's code base and you're injecting someone's code and you don't know how it works or understand how it works, but somehow you got it to work and you can't even explain it. If they come to you and ask you, hey, where did you get this code from? How did you get it to work? That's like grounds for getting removed right away. Like that's grounds for getting fired right off the bat. That's what they don't want. They don't want people cutting and pasting. They want you to have a strong skill set and know how to reference your documentation and actually know how to build software, understand the development life cycle, like software development life cycle, understand your tools, your technologies, understand how to work as a team in a team environment. Like they want all that stuff. That's why developers get paid money. That's why they get paid a lot of money. It ain't because they can copy and paste stuff off the net like they got online. It's because they know how to, like the ones that they're hiring that have been there. Like if somebody's at a senior developer level, it's because they broke in as entry level and they knew what they were doing the entire time. They're at that level and they're only getting better and better and better and better every year until they qualify as a senior developer, right? They're already at an advanced level, but you don't get to that level. You're not going to have a successful career and get to that level if you're going to be the copy and paster. So like I have a example I tell people too sometimes, and I know it's kind of a offensive example to some people, and I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just trying to make a distinction. But one of my professors, he works at a big AI company, and he's a part-time professor at the university I go to. And he made the distinction when I was first learning. He told me the type of software engineer, if you want to be successful in software engineering, the type of software engineer you got to be. And he said there's people that are coders and there's people that are programmers. And the coder, he just copy and paste everything he sees on the internet and somehow magically gets it to work, right? But the programmer knows how to reference his documentation and write from scratch and build a program from scratch, from start to finish without copying and pasting. Like they understand how to build a program or software. um, they're not just like getting random pieces of code, copy paste. And on front end web development, you can get away with that to a certain extent, but that's not where you want to be. You want to be at the place where even on front end web development, you're writing it. You can create that front end from scratch, your own code, like your own coding style. Because what people don't know is what they taught us in the university, and they also taught us this at the apprenticeship, because they would show us each other's codes during meetings. We all see each other's coding style. But yeah, even though the syntax, a lot of things you do are similar, everybody leaves like their own fingerprint on their code. So like when you learn how to write your own code, when you get that language fluency and you stop copying and pasting and you're just writing your own code on your own, like fresh from scratch, and you're just referencing your documentation if you need to, if you're using like a method or you're using like some other built-in feature for the programming language, and you just need to like, okay, this is the tool I need right now to get this done. But you leave a fingerprint. Everybody's like, it's like if you went to Code Wars. In some of my events, I go to Code Wars and we'll solve a problem, and then when we look at the solutions, there's there's hundreds of solutions, and there's people writing the same. They're writing the same. They're solving the same problem, hundreds of different ways. They have different ways of writing code. So like that's what I mean. Is like everybody has their own fingerprint, and that's where you want to be at. Like where like it's hard to explain it, but like that's when you got language fluency, and that's how you know when code's written by a human versus like something generated or copy and pasted offline. Because if I gave you a code file and I told you implement this component, for example, and build this functionality into it, I would be able to see mixed coding styles into there because mixed fingerprints, probably something you copy and pasted, and probably something that you wrote yourself, or maybe not, maybe two different copy and paste from two different platforms. You can see that. Like once you write enough code, you can start seeing that and you pick it out. And then you can just be like, hey, where'd you get that from? Or what are you doing? Or you know what, I'm just going to remove it and redo it. You know what I mean? Because you didn't do it right to begin with. That's like you can see that, and that's what the importance is. Like if you think you can pull the wool over somebody that's skilled over their eyes, yeah, you got another thing coming because you're not going to succeed like that. And like I want to get you at the level where you're going to succeed. I'm not going to try to sell you a dream and let you cut and paste your butt off online and in the end tell you, yeah, yeah, go apply, you're ready, and you can't even pass a technical interview and you're going to fail. You know what I mean? Like because that's what some of like sadly that's what some of these platforms do. They're working you up. They're like, yeah, yeah, woo, all the excitement, got all the bells and whistles they claim, and at the end of it, you still don't got a job, or you're not job ready, um, and they promised you the world, and they took your money, probably thousands of dollars. Like that's the sad part of it is you got crooks and everything, and you got some people that are sincere, that really want you to learn, that really want to teach you some skill that in a way that you can apply it without relying on Stack Overflow or cutting and pasting off of any platform. I'm not picking on Stack Overflow. I'm just throwing it out there because anybody in the tech space or that's seen the tech space knows that it's a popular place for people to go present their coding problems and get answers. But some people, they don't just put the problem they're having and wait for a solution from somebody. They go there and just look to see if their problem already exists on there, and they cut and paste the code from it. And that's not how I like. That's not how I would want to use it. Like the way I would show you use it is, if you have a problem and you're not understanding how to do it on your own, you would go there to see, and if you find your solution, you still have to, even if you like, you still have to bring it into your environment and test it, rewrite it and test it. I wouldn't even copy and paste it. I would say rewrite it for your specific use case. First, understand what they're doing on that platform, and then take that knowledge and apply it in your own environment and test it. And then you got to know how to write test code, how to write edge cases, how to write test code, so you could test the code to make sure that it does everything that's intended or that needs to be done for that specific part of whatever project you're working on or component. Whatever it is you're doing, like it's just it's a different level when you're actually programming than when you're the coder. And the programmer, like I said, is the guy that knows how to program, knows how to build, knows how to do everything from scratch. He has all that he's just built. He's just cut from a different cloth. He's just built that way. That's the people they want. If you go up to an interview and you're cutting and pasting, some of them might not allow that either. So like a lot of them, they're not going to allow you to go to like some other environment and cut and paste things. They're going to whiteboard you. They might even whiteboard you, or they're going to put you in their own environment and make you do live coding in front of them, and you're not going to have access to any of your tools. You're not going to have access to online or to Google. You're not going to have access to you might not even have access to Mozilla developer network. If you're JavaScript, maybe you will if they allow it, right? Because they're expecting you at that level that you're applying for to already have language fluency and already have a lot of these things memorized. That's the difference. Is they take those tools away from you and give you a technical assessment to make sure that you already have the capabilities that they need. That's the whole purpose, to make sure that you're already ready. Um, and that's what makes it harder to pass the interview. Uh, and then some of them are integrating not just technical interview, like where they do problem solving, but they're also integrating where they have you build like a front end, like if you're going to interview for a job for React, they tell you, hey, we're going to give you this code file and we need you to do XYZ to it, and you got to manipulate the front end or the back end in some way. They want to see that because at an entry level you should be able to do that, and if you can't, that means you weren't ready for that role that you applied for. That means that when you fail that interview, you need to go back and start studying more and get ready. Know what you did, what you need help with, or what your weaknesses are, and strengthen them. Um, because if you're ready, you're gonna pass the interview. Like if you're ready, you're gonna pass. The front end stuff should be a cake. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, front end development, everybody wants to do it because it's the easiest thing. And front end development should be cakewalk. It should be simple. Like once you get to that level, front end's gonna be cake. The back end's the beast. The back end's the hard part. Um, um, Applying your data structures and algorithms to optimize and test code, that's the hard part. Um, Doing a pretty front end, that's the easy part. That should come like that, like easy. You shouldn't have to, like, depending on the little front end they're gonna have you tweak, depending on the company. If they give you a little homework assignment, like, hey, you have X amount of time or X amount of days to do this on this, you know, front end code we're giving you. Because I had to do one for an internship I applied for. They had me do one in React and TypeScript, and if you're not ready, you're gonna find out because then you're gonna know. Okay, do I submit this? Am I ready or not? You should be able to submit it. And I'm not saying just because you submitted it successfully, they're gonna reach out for you. Because even though I submitted it successfully, they still reached out to me and told me we're gonna keep you in our file and reach out to you at another time. We're sorry we didn't select you, right? So you still can't be afraid of rejection because there's still places you're going to apply to. You're going to get rejected, and then someone's going to say yes down the road. You just got to find that person or that place that's right for you, or that's meant for you, I guess. But you're going to get a lot more rejections than anything, and the front end test should come easy. Like, so when you're at that level where you're job ready, if I gave you a front end test and you couldn't do it, that's right away. That's a red flag that tells you, okay, you're not ready and that you need more work. Front end's easy, but that's because the result of that. That's why there's more competition there. So you're going to see the job market oversaturated heavily for front end developers. So if you want to be a front end developer, you're going to be putting an application for a front end job, and you're going to have like 3,000 other applicants, probably hundreds and thousands of other applicants, because everybody wants to be a front end developer, right? Nobody wants to do the back end. So you go for a back end developer, you don't got a lot of competition. You got maybe like 10 applicants.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Fernando, we got a question. We got a great question. Do you think it's necessary to go to university and college to be a skilled developer?
Um, I'm a little bit biased, but then I'm not, because like the way I feel about it is there's a lot that I learned at a university that I didn't learn at a coding boot camp. Um, and But at the apprenticeship, they went a little more in depth with like the stuff that I learned at the university. So I would say that depending on the field you're trying to get in, I would do the research and see if a university degree is required. And in that case, then you got no choice. You have to go for the university. But if it's not required, if they'll take any type of learning, then you can learn whatever skills the job needs you to learn, whether it's on your own at a boot camp or through mentorship. So like it depends on the situation, the field you're trying to apply to, or the company. Like if your end result is I want to work at Google, for example, that might not be your first job, but eventually that's your goal. You want to get to Google. Well, does Google require you to have a computer science degree? Go research it, right? If they do, and you know that's your end game, that's where you eventually get that job, that's your dream job. Well, then go get that degree, because mine was Microsoft at the time, and my instructor that was working full time at Microsoft said, "Hey, you want to get in front of the competition? You want to show them that you're serious? Um, if you really want to work at Microsoft, go get the degree." That was his answer. So like,
Okay.
so that one's like depending. That one's more role specific, like job specific.
What about junior developer? Talk about junior developer.
Junior developer. Most companies are not going to require a university degree. So like the majority of them right now of companies, they don't require university degrees. They don't require boot camp. They require the skill. So you can go over there with a piece of paper and say, yeah, I want to apply for this role, and painting the picture like you got it going on. But they're gonna find out, right, during the technical interview. They're gonna find out if they hire you. Even if they hire you, they're gonna find out because they're still in the process of getting to know you and how you work. it's going to come out one way or the other, whether you try to pull the wool over their eyes, right? So like my whole thing is that yeah, in a lot of these companies, you don't have to have a degree or go to a boot camp, or you don't even have to have mentorship. You can just go, do self-taught, completely self-taught. Spend whatever amount of money you want, but completely self-taught. Um,
How would you, if you're self-taught, then, or if you went to the boot camp, how would you make the recruiters recognize that and actually take you for an interview?
Um, well, my thing was for LinkedIn, for example, recruiters just reach out to me randomly once in a while because they like my profile. They like that I'm a boot camp graduate. They like that I'm at a university. They like that I started my own company. They like my skill set. They like all my skills I possess. They like my portfolio project, like things like that. They like all that stuff, and they reach out to me like, "Hey, are you done with school yet?" And even though it's on my profile, I tell them, no, I'm not done with school yet. And they're like, well, reach out when you're done. It's like the recruiters are just going to reach out to you if they like what they see. Um, or like LinkedIn's talent acquisition community. So like I got accepted into their talent acquisition community on LinkedIn, so that way I can be considered for a internship at LinkedIn for 2024 for the summer. Um, they reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. A LinkedIn recruiter reached out to me. So like that's the thing, is not just like, don't lie on your social platforms. Be truthful because you got to prove it. Like I put 4.0 GPA on there because I got the documents to prove it. I go to university, I got the documents to prove it. You know what I mean? I graduated from a coding bootcamp, I got the documents to prove it. Like you got to have the proof. Like don't just say whatever you want on there. I'm verified on there. I'm a real person. I got my identity and everything verified on LinkedIn. So like you want to take those steps to verify like all you everything that like all your achievements and your identity, and then you're just gonna, when you eventually you build up to a certain level, or you get all of those achievements you've made, they're gonna get seen by somebody. They're gonna get somebody's attention. Somebody's gonna start reaching out to you. And that's the thing, is like me, I never had to
So,
reach out to them on my own.
so they reach out to you and they schedule an interview with you. How do you think how many interviews is gonna be? It's gonna be a technical interview, then meeting the staff, like depending probably on the size of the company. But how would that process look like?
So like if they're reaching out, they directed me to, whatever links they gave me to apply for whatever position they wanted me to intern or apply for, and then they would meet with me online and talk with me, like more as a, let's meet you in person, turn your camera on, let's get to know you. And then they started talking about technical background, achievements, degree, and for me, being a university student helped with certain internships, because there's a lot of internships that want you to be currently at a university. So like if you go to a boot camp, for example, um, likely you're not going to be able to get into an internship program, because a lot of these internship programs out there, they want university students. But that doesn't mean that you can't get a job, because as a junior developer, there's a lot of companies hiring people entry level or junior developer roles that finish a boot camp, because they demonstrate that they have the skill required to do the job, that they have the knowledge, that they have the skill set required to do it. So like, but like with the like for example, LinkedIn, they put me somewhat through that process, and then we had a group technical interview. So like what they did was they put us in a group and we had a live meeting, and they gave us a problem. They did it unrealistically on purpose. So like they told us you got 5 minutes to solve this problem, but it was a problem that should have been solved in at least half an hour, and I knew it. I looked at it and I was like, yeah, there's no way we're gonna do this in 5 minutes. But I still submitted the best I had. I did the best I could, and they said, okay, we weren't expecting any of you guys to actually finish that. And then they went into a demonstration of a technical interview, because even if you go through their process before you get into their internship, you're gonna go through one of their technical interviews. And so like that's basically like, depending on company or wherever you're going, they're gonna have their own way of doing things. But some companies have like 3-step processes, 5-step processes, 7-step processes. Those are all the processes I've heard of. And at no point should you be talking about money. until they make you an offer. When they start talking about money, that's because you passed every other stage in the process, and they're ready to hire you. You shouldn't be talking about money. You shouldn't be talking about like, yeah, hey, you're gonna pay me $100,000. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear that if you haven't passed the technical interview. Um, or if you, and then you got to think about competition. For example, like I said, for a front end role, you're going to be competing with hundreds or thousands of other people. How are you going to stand out from them? So think about that. Like, what am I going to do to stand out from them? Right? So, like, one thing, I'm not going to lie about it, one thing was a college degree. So, like, if you have a boot camp or you have the knowledge, whether it's through a mentorship or an apprenticeship or an internship, and then you have a university degree, that puts you at the front of the line, basically, because they're going to prefer somebody with the degree over somebody that doesn't have the degree. That's the cold reality of it, right? So like you'll see that in a lot of job posts, they're going to say computer science degree preferred or related field preferred, but not necessary. What they're really saying is if you have that degree, we're going to consider you over everybody else. So take that into consideration if you have the time to make the commitment for university, do it. But just know that during that time you're in the university, you're going to get a lot of rejections because you made that choice. So, like for example, for me, I didn't wait to get a job in tech. I started my own company. I had an experience at an apprenticeship for 8 months, sure, but I didn't want to wait till I was done graduating from the university to get a job in tech. So I started my own company because I felt like I had the skill and knowledge and the ability to do it anyway, and I wasn't going to wait and let my skills go stale. So I started my own thing, right? But the some jobs they rejected me at a junior level. They rejected me because I'm currently a student. They told me, well, you're a full-time student. We don't know how you're going to put in the full-time commitment as a junior developer. So reach back out when you graduate, right? So like, there's pros and cons to everything. You got to make your own choice. You got to know how much time you got to learn versus how much time you don't got that you got. If you got a family to raise or bills to pay, you got to know what commitment you can put in. Like even if you live in a, like say for example, you have a family you raise and bills to pay, maybe you have the option of still learning. Maybe somebody's paying the bills and you have the option is keep pushing down your path. So if you're that blessed, then do that. You just have to know your situation and know what you're getting yourself into, because what you don't want to do is go to university and fail, because they don't care if you fail. Like, they do want you to succeed, but if you fail, you're still going to owe them money for the length of time that you went to that university, and you're paying tens of thousands of dollars every semester. Probably, I would say at my university, it's a private university, and they're about $7,000 to $8,000 on my quote. That's my quote. They might quote you differently a semester. They're close to $8,000 a semester to go there, and that's just a semester. That's 15 weeks, so about $8,000 every 15 weeks. Um, and you go there for 1 or 2 semesters, or even a year, and you quit. You're gonna owe that money still, so you better finish, right? With a coding boot camp, it's going to be a lot less money you're going to invest. It's going to be hundreds or thousands, or actually thousands, because the hundreds ain't going to get you a job. So like that web development fundamentals boot camp, $400, that's not going to get you a job. All that does is get you ready to take the boot camp that you need to take to get there to that place where you're job ready. But that $400 boot camp, web development fundamentals, that alone is not going to get you a job. Um, have to leave. Thanks a lot for the info session. Yep. Whoever Yappy Yappo is, if you have any questions, or you could DM us if you'd like. But yeah, just know what you're getting into, because the boot camp, the same thing. They're not going to care, right? You go through one of their servicers, even though it's not the boot camp collecting from you. The servicer doesn't care. The loan servicer is still going to get their money whether you fail or complete it. They're coming for their money, and that's the reality. That's how it is with the university. The university is not the one charging you the money. They're getting the money from a loan servicer if you're getting a loan, and the loan servicer is loaning you the money to go to the university if you can't pay that much up front. And they're gonna come for their money, whether you fail or you succeed. They're coming for it. So like, you got to know the commitment you're getting into. If you want to do self-taught, well, your options are out there. You can spend nothing or you can spend something, but you got to make sure in the end. Like I have a friend I wish I could have invited here. She spent 4 years doing self-taught web development and wish that she can go back and join a boot camp or a mentorship program or even a university, because she says she felt like she wasted 4 years learning on her own, because she could have done what she done in 4 years, she probably could have done in 6 months to a year if she had a program with a dedicated mentor or instructor, things like that. If she had that program, then she would have been more successful faster. It took her longer. It took her 4 years because she was in the ocean, swimming alone in the ocean. That's the difference, is having the lighthouse pointing you where you need to be going versus, when you're out there selling your shit with your crew, at least you're not alone. But when you're out self-taught, you're out in the ocean. Maybe if you, with your life raft alone with no lighthouse, you don't know where to go. You got to find your own direction, right? So like that's the difference. And she spent 4 years on that path, not knowing what she should be learning, just learning everything she could, with one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next for 4 years until she felt like she was ready to freelance because she's a freelance developer. And she said she could have cut that time minus 3 years at least if she would have taken a program somewhere like a university, um, boot camp, or if she had a mentor. Even if you're self-taught with a mentor, it's going to take you a lot further. And that's what I mean is the difference in your learning path compared to having nothing, just being out there alone with the sharks. Because there are some sharks out there. They're gonna take your money, and then you're probably not gonna get much from it. So remember that too with those premium Udemy videos that they're convincing you to pay a bunch of money to copy and paste your butt off, and in the end you're still not job ready. So like that's the difference, right? That's a shark in the water. That's how I would define the shark in the water. They're out there preying on people on their hard-earned money, and they're not actually working with them to make sure that they get there, or that they're or they'll lie to them along the way, just so that way they can keep taking their money. And that's not the place you want to be at. You want to be somewhere with people that actually care, or that people that are going to show you the right direction, or people that are going to be honest to you about your progress in whatever course or whatever program you're in. They're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you the truth. Hey, look, I've worked X amount of time with you. This ain't for you, type deal. People that are going to tell you the truth, be truthful for you. You know what I mean? That's the type of people you want to be around. Like people that care. That care. They're not just trying to take your money and run with it. Like that they actually care about your future. Because me, I care. I care about people's future because I care about my own. And I want to succeed. I want to see other people succeed too. Or if we can, I want to succeed together, right? So like, that's the whole deal. Is like I'm not just me, me, me. I'm not gonna just. I could create a coding bootcamp if I want, get it licensed, build my own curriculum, take thousands of dollars from people, and then and if they fail, too bad. I got money in my pocket. I could be that guy too, but I'm not. And that's the people that you want. That's not the type of people you want to in your network, or that you want to fall prey to, because there's a lot of that when you're self-taught. There's a lot of that, especially like if you ask me, if you have zero knowledge and you're learning on online courses and you're paying money for Udemy, you're wasting your money. You need to get to that level where you can understand what's being talked about and what's being built in those videos, so that way you can apply those videos. And even then, when you get to a level where you're experienced enough, you don't even never need those videos. Very, very rarely. You'll be able to just build it yourself no matter what. You know where to find it. You know what to do. You don't need to ask for help. Maybe if you're working in a team environment, asking for help just helps you cut the time shorter. So like, for example, if we're working on something in a team and I'm like, hey, I can't remember how to do this, Irina, how do you do this again? And she reminds me, yeah, that's how you do it. And I'm like, all right, good. I just keep going, right? I didn't waste time. But if I didn't ask for help, I would have just went online, researched it, and then I would have done it anyway, but it would took me a little bit longer. So like, that's what I mean is like, asking for help's not a bad thing, but you want to be at that place where you don't have to ask for help, where you can just do it yourself. You know how to do it. Um, and you can't get there just watching videos. being in tutorial hell like that, watching video after video after video, and you feel like nothing's sticking, like you're not learning nothing. They're not explaining the syntax, the lines of code. They're not explaining data structures and algorithms. They're not breaking it down for you in an understandable way that helps you visualize it. They're not showing you how to put it into practice or how to use it in an application. Like they're not doing those things. They're just, let me make this recording, and whatever you get out of it for whatever money you get out of it, I don't care. I'll make you money right now. So that's kind of the attitude behind making videos, at least how I perceive it. That's why I don't advocate for people to learn when they have zero knowledge to learn from videos. It's not a good way. It's not a good path to pick if you're trying to really be serious about learning and getting into a career in tech. Like you want a more serious path than that. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible because I'm telling you, I've met a couple people, maybe one or two, that have claimed, they claimed actually. I wasn't there in their life to actually see them go through that process and succeed, but they claimed that they were 100% self-taught. They never went to university, never went to a boot camp, never had a mentor. They did all their research learning on their own online, and that's how they became successful. That's very rare. There's some people they've claimed they've done it like that, but that's like one in a million probably. Who knows? Like it's very, very rare. You're not going to see it a lot. Not everybody can do that. Most people, the structured environment, the direction, the mentors or the instructors or the professors, the group that they're working with, all that's like a big help. Getting feedback on their work, coding live in front of somebody so they can get live feedback, showing people how to really like do things, like, you know what I mean, like when you're learning how to build something with somebody showing you how to build something, that's different when you're learning how to build something when you're reading it online and copying and pasting it. It's a lot different. And then so like the DarkMode Devs mentorship, a lot of it's going to be hands-on. So like I'm going to be testing you, putting you to the test and making you do a lot of hands-on. I'm not going to sit there and like, yeah, I'm going to teach you stuff, but I'm not going to sit there and do your work for you. I'm going to make you I'm going to put you to work. Like I'm going to make you, I'm going to show you, like it's in a way it's going to be like both tough. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie, because it's a tough career to get into, but it's going to be, that's what's going to turn you into a monster, into a beast, you know, like really make you really good, is if you can't have somebody just doing all the work for you. Like I could build a program, for example, I could build a simple calculator, and then I could tell you, I can explain it how it works to you, and then tell you, yeah, go ahead, just copy and paste it. Put that on your resume. What good does that do, right? If you can't build it from scratch and you don't understand every line of code that was written, if you don't understand the logic of the programming language, and when you push buttons, what's making what do that, or when you're making mathematical calculation, what is doing that, or how is it doing that. Like if you're not able to understand that, conceptualize it, and read it like you're reading English, then that does you no good just to copy and paste it and slap it in your portfolio project. Because it's not going to mean nothing to me if I, for example, if I interviewed you on that project and I said, yeah, explain the code to me, and you couldn't explain it logically or break it down at a high level and explain your data structures that you chose and the big O analysis of those data structures, the time and space complexity of those data structures, I'm not going to care. I'm going to be like, okay, they just cut and pasted this offline somewhere. Who cares? Next. Who's next? You know what I mean? Because it tells me you're not ready, not at that level. And I don't like being that hard on people, but like that's the reality of it, of interviewing with people. That's the level they're going to expect you to be at. It's not going to be, it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay, so like from my network, they'll tell you, like if maybe I should have a guest. I should ask in my network if there's any senior engineers that want to speak on one of my events, that one of my mentors. But they would be able to tell you that it's hard work to get that first job in tech, but once you get it and you're succeeding, the rest of the roles after that, they come easy because you've already proven yourself. It comes easy at that point. But it's breaking in initially, getting that first job, and getting job level from zero knowledge to getting to that level where you can apply for that job successfully and know what you're doing. That's the hard part. Like breaking in is the hard part. Like knowing that, acquiring the knowledge, the skill set that you need, and breaking into your first job in tech is the hard part. After that, the rest of the career, they say, it just cruises along. And that's maybe what I should have done. Maybe I should have talked to one of my mentors and asked one of them to come and speak at one of my events. Anybody else have any questions? Because our time's up, but I'll take questions before we leave.
There is a question. There is a question. More question. If it's okay to learn while using example plugins. Ooh, yes, you're gonna love this question. Example plugins in VS Code, those that correct your code or leave you a semicolon or a quote.
No, no. So like, don't if you have zero knowledge and you start learning, you don't want to use those extensions in VS Code because they're doing all the work for you. And when you're in a technical interview, if they strip all those tools away from you and they make you code in their environment or like on Notepad, for example, they're testing to see whether you have the language fluency and that syntax for your programming language memorized. And you have to have those things memorized, like a semicolon or lowercase or uppercase, like camel case, or code blocks, how you write code blocks, or parentheses and how you write, function parameters and arguments and things like that. Like all these things that you're doing already, variables, whatever the case may be, whatever code you're writing, they want to see that you can write all that out on your own from scratch. So like if you're first learning and you're using autocomplete, you're gonna get to a place where where I take autocomplete away from you and you can't do nothing. You're just done. You're naked without it. You don't know how to write. You don't know how to write code without it. That's where you don't want to be. When you're first learning, you want to turn all that stuff off, and you want to make sure that you're writing everything from scratch until it's built in you enough where it's just muscle memory. And once it's muscle memory, then you can use an extension that auto completes code for you because you've already done it so many times. It's already built into your muscle memory that if you turn that off, you could just write it no matter what. So that's the difference. You don't want to do that. So using that's going to hinder you. It's going to be a crutch. Any other questions? Where are you getting all these questions
Yes.
from?
Oh, they love me, so they type me in
Oh, what?
directly.
Oh, so they're loving you more than
Yep.
me? What?
Yep, they love me more.
What?
I
Oh,
get to
that's
talk
it.
with
That
them. I
is
get
it.
to email them. I get to direct message them. I ask them, "How are you?" You don't do all that stuff. It's the marketing part.
Whatever. All right. So what's up? What
I
other
get friend
questions?
requests.
That is it.
There is. What would you recommend if you were 17 right now and you were looking at your future? You're like pretty much at the final school year
For high school,
for high
right?
school. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 17. You're like graduating high school and you're looking into like all this world with like a bunch of things that you can do. And from coming from everybody else telling you, okay, you got to do this at this time, this at that time, this and that time, and now you have the freedom. You can sleep until 12. You can hang out and play with friends until 3 a.m., maybe 5 a.m. What would you recommend to them?
What I recommend is, I think everybody deserves a small break, but at the same time, don't take that break too long if that's what you're trying to say. Don't try to justify excuses to put your future on hold. Me, I went straight from high school straight into college because I knew that if I didn't go straight to college, I probably was never going to go to college.
And you went for architecture?
Yeah, for architecture at the
Why
time, that
did
was
you
for
pick
architecture.
architecture?
I picked architecture because it was a white collar job and the pay. That's why I picked it. Because at the time it was a high paying job, it was white collar, and because it involved art. So, like, as an architect at the time, you do architectural drafting, and we were using a software called Architectural Desktop, and we specialized in building custom homes. So, like, we would design and build custom homes, and like, I was like, if I could do that and make a killing, why not? So, I was in it for the money, and because I'm an artsy type person, I like the design of things. So
I went for graphic design college because my grandma taught me how to draw, so I had the skill. I could draw, and I thought the artists don't make money, and I needed a job that makes money. So I decided, okay, art and computers that makes money. Let's go with that. So that's how I went into graphic design. And Fernando, that turned out well for you, right? Going to school for architecture, you didn't have to switch a major. You went to architecture. You started working at a firm.
yeah,
Did that go smooth?
yeah, I was working at architect firms, engineering firms. contracted with another engineering firm, and then I started my own architectural firm, and like everything went good at the time. And
Was that during the time you went to university you got a job, or you got it after?
no, I went during the university. I got the job because
You got
I
the
didn't
job
want to
during
wait.
what
Yeah, I
year?
didn't want to wait. That probably would have been 2000.
No, what year in college? Senior,
Oh, what year
junior,
in college? I
last
didn't
year?
wait. I was in my junior year.
Right
I
away?
was
Oh, good,
hungry.
right away.
I was
First
so
year
like
that
this
you
is one
went to
thing. Yeah,
university?
you're gonna learn from university. Okay, so at the university they're gonna tell you you got to be at a certain level for career services to get involved and start getting you a job. I didn't want to wait. Like me, I was like, I'm ready to apply my drafting right now. I know the program. I could do this, so I just went and started applying to jobs. But back
Right
then it was a
away.
different world. Back then it was a different world. I got my resume ready. I dressed up in my professional clothes because back then it was a white collar job. You had to dress professionally. You had to dress at least in
Are
a
you
dress.
walk in, you
Huh?
give your resume.
Yeah. And I walked in person, handing at different architect firms and engineering firms, giving them my resume, introducing myself to the people, telling them I'm a student and I want a job. And that's how I got my first job in my first year in college. I didn't wait for nobody. I just went. I was hungry back then. I didn't want to wait. I was like, I'm not waiting 2 years. I'm not waiting 4 years. I want it right now. And like that's like the attitude you gotta have. Like nowadays, it's a little bit harder to do that because everything's online. So they have a way of locking you out. And if you go to a business in person, they might tell you, well, you got to go apply online now. But back then, they didn't do that. Back then, it was
But
like, you can
really,
apply,
all
come
you
on.
gotta do is create a connection with the person who's gonna hire you. As long
Yeah.
as you have that connection, you have a direct path over to work.
Oh, yeah. And then for like tech jobs, most people, their first jobs in tech are in their city, their local environment, their local area. Most people,
So
when
you
they,
pretty much you can take an approach of taking your resume and going from business to
yeah, you
business.
might be able to try it. Why not?
So
But
you have
like,
a business card and apply online.
yeah, but that person that's 17, I would say don't sleep on your future. And life isn't promised. You can't like don't take life for granted. Don't think that I got, uh 10, 20, 30, 40 years guaranteed to me because if you had your eyes open in life long enough, you're going to see that people don't live as long as sometimes they want to or unexpected things happen in life. You want to get it while you can. So like while all these people are out there partying and screwing around, I would just ignore that. Like I would just go straight about your future, your life, your career, what's important for you, and all the people out drinking, partying, and getting high and doing all that stuff they call fun. They're just gonna help you ruin your life. So like that's what I'm gonna tell you, like straight up. Like I have a son that's 17, and he's not sure what career he wants to do, and I tell him the same thing all the time. You want to go screw around with your friends, go for it, but you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it because I'm telling you right now, it might sound boring to you, and you want to have fun, all that stuff, but you're gonna risk putting your life on hold or ruining it because you want to hang around with a bunch of idiots. Don't do it. Like be the smart guy. You got to be the even if they look at you like you're the black sheep, so what? You're the diamond in the rough because you're the one that's doing something right with your life. Like you want to
What
chase it.
about what about you switched your career? You're what, 40, no, 38. 38 when you switched your career. You took a long
37.
break and then you switched your, you were 37 when you
37, yeah.
started? Yeah, 37. So it's been 3 years now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been 3 years. And you switched your career after a long break. You didn't do architecture. You did a little bit of law. You did a lot of religion studies. And then you switched into software development once you were able to. Um, how do you feel switching a career so late?
I felt like it might be a stupid move, but a bold move at the same time. But I kind of felt like maybe I should just go back to architecture, or maybe I should look into going to law school, or just become because I have a certification to be a paralegal. Maybe I should have just applied at some law firm as a paralegal. But like I really, really had my heart set on software, so I went for it. But like I did, it felt like maybe a stupid move at the time. Like maybe I shouldn't be doing it. I was 37 years old. Now I'm 40, so like I feel like I'm behind too. Like I feel like behind a little bit because I feel like I'm doing things that I would have been doing when I was 20. Like, cause I was in college back when I went straight from high school to college. So I was 18 or 19 in my first year in college, and I'm doing things that now that I was doing back then because I switched careers.
And I'm 25, and I'm pretty much learning what you're learning. I'm pretty much at the same level, a little less because you go through university, and I study through boot camp and self study. But I'm pretty much almost at the same level as you.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is you're gonna feel like well for me I felt like I was behind and like I felt a little bit out of place because everybody that's at the university they're me when I was 20. They're not me right now when I'm 40. But at the university you'll see people that are my age or even older. There's a very few of us, but there's some of us there switching careers. So like I met some people they're in their 50s and they're switching careers. It just doesn't matter anymore. Like if you
But
got
how do they feel? Do they feel the same way, like they're lagging behind? Do we have any people who switch their careers later in their years that have a suggestion on how to, I don't know, what's the name for it? How to cope?
mm,
Let's say, with
yeah.
the thoughts that come in. Oh my God, I'm lacking behind. I'm so far. Like these kids are, they know the same like me.
Well, for me, it
They
was
know.
more like I was more hungry than them kids, though. So, like me, I'm probably the smartest one at the university in my classes right now. I'm one of those
That's
few
true.
with the 4.0 GPA because I got the drive and the hunger for it. And the people at the university, they're not running their own company, and they're not at that level where they can build a software from scratch.
That's probably why in those just two
You know what I
years,
mean?
you're already running your own
Yeah, it's
company
because I was
in
just
four,
hungry.
3 years.
I was hungry and I wanted it, and I went and got it. And then I was putting in the time to study at the university, to apply those skills, to study at the boot camp. Like I was like just I wanted it, and that's like when you're that young. I remember the first career I chose. Um, I felt like I had all the time in the world to choose, so it wasn't that important to me.
So you weren't in the rush, and right now
Yeah, I wasn't in
you
a
feel
rush,
like you need to
but
catch up
when I was
because you did.
37, yeah, when I was 37 getting into software, I was in a rush. Like I felt like I want it now and I need to do it now and I'm gonna get it right now. And that's what I think with that hunger, that drive.
And you managed to have hundreds of girlfriends on your Facebook
Yeah, and I managed to
during the
have
same.
you're crazy, but yeah, I managed to have yeah, I can generate pretty big networks really quick. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just at the time I just like me, I was just hungry. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like my at my age right now, the drive I have is a lot higher than when I was 20. Like I still had some hustle when I was 20, but watch like that 17-year-old asking you that question. Um, if they're thinking about taking breaks and I got all the time in the world, they ain't got that drive. But they need to somehow they need somebody or they need somehow within themselves to figure out how to embed that drive inside of
Uh,
them because
they're thinking, is it better to be self-employed or look for a job as a software developer?
I would say if you can do both, but the idea if you want money fast is to work for somebody else because they're already going to have an established business and they're going to just pay you. But if you have to build your own company, you got to do everything from scratch. It's a lot more work, and it takes sometimes, it takes time for businesses to build the traction, to grow, to be able to expand and pay people more money to make more money. You can't just make a business like overnight and be millionaire tech business overnight. It takes years. It takes years to build that. So like um, some people it's quicker than others, but it takes time to build that. And the um, I would say like when you work for a company, yeah, you're getting a salary, maybe like we were talking about earlier, 90, $100,000 a year salary as a junior developer. But it's basically if you perform well and you were ready for the job and you're performing well on the job, that's basically God willing that you live that year. You know what I mean? Of course, everybody wants to be alive, but that's basically guaranteed 90, $100,000 for that year that you're working. You're getting that money. And so like I would say like it depends. Some people think that working for a company, you're going to um, I guess benefit more because at the same time you're learning. Because not everybody gets the advantage of like learning industry practices at an internship or an apprenticeship, unless you're a university student. So like That's usually an option for university students, like like LinkedIn or other companies. They only open up their internships to university students. That's it. They're not going to let somebody that was self-taught or a boot camp graduate go to any of their internships. You have to be in a university or
Mm.
already a university graduate. But most of them
Fernando,
currently a university.
yeah, Tiffany is asking, can we talk a little bit more about the mentorship program? What system will we be using, and if we're going to be using GitLab or anything like that?
What did she say? What?
About the
Yeah,
mentorship
yeah.
program,
But yeah,
what
GitHub. No.
system? If we're
Oh
using
yeah.
GitLab or something, I
No,
guess that's
GitHub.
collaboration.
So
I never
like
used
yeah,
it.
collaboration. No, you can use GitLab or GitKraken or GitHub. Like there's different ones you can use.
Are you going to show us how to use it?
Yeah, but like for example, like GitKraken, I think, or GitLab, I've seen like I have people in my network using that in game development. But like most developers,
Hmm.
they use GitHub. They just use GitHub. You could use GitLab or GitKraken because I guess they have more built-in tools for the development team to use. But some of them are premium features though too. But
Hmm.
GitHub has everything you need to do to build a project and a team. Just GitHub by itself, it has
Can you
everything in it.
talk about the mentorship program? How can people sign up if they're interested? Do we have anybody interested?
Yeah, we have people interested, and then Tiffany was our first one to sign up, and then we're waiting to get more sign-ups right now. I'm waiting. I DM'd some people that told me they were interested and that they wanted to sign up, and I'm still waiting to hear from them to see whether they're going to sign up. Um,
Do we have anybody from this meeting that we're interested? Do we have anybody right now that they're interested? If they want to DM us or just raise your hand or unmute yourself, say, I want to learn. Happy to do that.
so Milo said, not sure yet. Okay. So what can we do to help? You're not sure yet.
Is it
Yeah,
time
is it?
or the money?
Yeah, like what is it? Or
I'll
is it
just
like
unmute really fast.
okay?
Yeah, it's all of the above. I'm also in school full time as well right now, and I don't have money or time. So it's not the right time, but maybe in the future.
Okay, I
That
got you.
sounds.
I was wondering if maybe it
You're
was.
in university for your software development?
I'm studying, the degree is called Sonic Arts and Music Production.
Whoa, that's way different than software development.
Yeah, it is.
What made you curious about software though?
I'm interested in potentially applying it with my background in music and arts and working with things creatively, potentially teaching creative practice. I already plan to, and I work with electronics and electronic music, and coding and programming is used to create your own instruments as well.
Like Audacity, what or right? That's the software that I used. I was creating my first video for a nonprofit, and it needed sound, and I wanted the background sound to be a certain music, and I wanted it to be muffled. Was not able to do it.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty brand new to what it would be. I'm in the beginning stages of considering. So I don't have the answer to that, but currently, I use like a DAW, digital audio workstation. People probably heard of Ableton.
that's awesome. Fernando's son, Alaric, he is into music as well. He creates his own beats. He's 17, so he creates his own beats and he's into music. He likes basketball too, so he's deciding which path he should take. Uh, but that's awesome to connect with you. We'll be happy to help you on the path with your how to code and program. And if you could help us out with some of our projects, um, anything that's related to the field that you know stuff, how to make, we'd love to see your portfolio.
Right? Yeah, I'll definitely keep in touch and stay in the Discord. Yeah, thank you for presenting everything.
and the Sec Pro is thinking about it. So Sec Pro, is it the time or the money? It's the money. We have a program right now. I think it's splits. I think it splits in 4 payments. For I think what is it, $50 split? Or we can
Yeah.
come up with do it now, pay later type of thing. What do you think, Fernando?
We could, but like everybody's promise on paying has to be good too. So like we're good. We'll show you. I mean, we'll bring you in and write some kind of contract with you. But like
Yeah.
as long as the commitment's there, like as long as um, if you're going to say you're going to pay, you're going to pay. You know what I mean? Because we don't like at the same time we're going to show you. We're going to do our best for you, but yeah, just promise your best for us as well. But yeah, we can work something out depending on your financial situation. Like you could DM us or DM me, and then we can work something out.
I have another question for you guys.
Yeah,
Fernando, I already talked to you. So will it be you and Arena both teaching us in the mentorship program, or just you, Fernando?
primarily me, but yeah,
Okay,
we could probably bring her in here and there if she wants to.
sounds good. Will you guys be using, as far as like the mentorship? I'm familiar with Figma. So will you be using Figma, like Trello? Most of those type of applications and software
Do
as
you
far as
know
like
Asana?
development. Asana?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of that.
It's like
That's all
Trello.
right. Similar. It's like Trello.
Oh, it is like Trello. Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
And then you can use whatever you want for like wireframing. There's a bunch of them out there. Like you can use Figma or you can use Canva or you can use. There's a bunch. There's a whole lot. If you look up like wireframing or wireframing software for web development, there's a bunch, and then a lot of them are premium. But you can check it out. There's a bunch out there. Um, I don't know if there's one we'd recommend over the other because it depends on what type of wireframe you're building. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, like when it comes to the wireframing,
As far as wireframing,
like
that's
a
what I was saying
mock-up. Yeah,
because yes, if you having us doing projects like when you teach us like how some people teach you like before you build a project, you build everything in Figma and then you transfer all those uh those wireframes into code.
yeah, you
So you're
can.
just building everything from the Figma
Yeah, you can,
project.
but like it depends on your style though too, because some people they can come up with the design initially and stick with it the whole way through, but sometimes it evolves along the way. Like the
All right.
style is gonna change. So like
Just like
me,
our
Yeah.
project right now looks
yeah,
way different than what Figma does.
yeah. So like that. So
Okay.
like it evolves. Like you know what I mean. Like the styling is gonna evolve, and then like that's why they call them just mock-ups really because it's like you're putting your plan in place and the functionality you want or what you want to see, or maybe the different pages or the of the application or whatever you're trying to get. You know, you're trying to get down into some type of representation, whether it's like writing or some type of plan, however you want to approach it. That's all you're basically doing. But what it's actually going to come out to, like when the project's done, it's probably going to be night and day.
That sounds good. We have a week left, so I'm very excited to work with you guys.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
a week.
excited too.
Yeah, it is December 1st. So like we're trying to kick it off December 1st, and
Yes.
How much do we have left? What, 6 days? 5 days?
yep.
Not counting today,
Yes.
5 days?
There's
Geez,
others
that
too. I
came
have them in
quick.
my DM. I'm just got maybe I got to DM them again, but there's some others in my DM that I've messaged. They reached out, told me they were interested, and I sent them the information, but I haven't heard back yet. So I should probably reach out to them, let them know that time's running short. Um, no other questions? I gotta go. It's already gonna be one.
No questions for me, Fernando. Thank you very much. Thank you
All
both.
right. Nobody
Okay.
else?
Great seeing
Anybody
you
I
else?
had
today.
I had one more quick question. I put it in the chat. Have you said how long the mentorship program is?
Or how long it is?
Yeah.
It should be like, I would say, depending on your commitment and the time we're putting in there, I would say anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So like I was estimating, it should take 6 months and maybe 8 months max. And if you can't get it done in 8 months, then there's probably something else going on besides. Yeah,
It probably can finish sooner or
it could finish
later,
sooner.
depending on
Yeah,
the
the
speed.
person. Yeah, the
Yeah,
speed and the person too, like how quick they're absorbing things,
yeah.
and like and you're gonna know probably the first month. You're gonna know whether you can do it or not.
Can they pause it? Can they say, you know what, right now time is busy, I can't do it right now, and then come back to it?
Maybe, but I wouldn't recommend that because then whatever you're acquiring, the knowledge you're acquiring, you might go cold too. You might just
Yeah,
it might go
it's gonna
stale,
get forgotten,
and then
no
you're gonna come
repetition.
back and you're not gonna remember everything and might have to feel like you're starting all over again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so like that's what I would tell you is like you want to like be consistent and yeah, it'd be better not to take a break if you can
Better to find a good time and then just
and
commit to
just stick
that.
with it. Yeah.
Then. And you said it's Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. meeting or
Yeah, 5 p.m.
Arizona time?
Arizona time because some people were in different time zones and like for people in Arizona, because I have one guy that's in Arizona that might join us, and he needs it to be when it's past working hours. And then I was
Mhm.
thinking, and then Tiffany was another one. She works all day, and she needed it to be when she got home from work. So she was another one. And there might be others like that. Maybe they're working part time, full time, but they needed it to be because if I just pick some time in the morning, I don't know if it's gonna be good for everybody or if you got to work in the morning.
I'm probably gonna be working in the evening on Fridays, but the rest of the days mornings.
Yeah, and we can like go with what we can depending on the group we get. We can kind of move our schedule around as long as it's in gig as long as it's in our Google calendars. As long as we have a day and a time scheduled um, each day, and we're all showing up and doing stuff, we should be fine. As long as it doesn't just because I set the time at 5 p.m. Arizona time doesn't mean that we're married to that time. Like we can see what we can do with other people that join to try to bring
Mm.
us all together at a time where we can all still meet and come together.
And how long would the meetings be? You're assuming they're gonna be pretty much every day
Yeah,
for a weekday,
I'm assuming they could be for at least a couple hours every day.
couple hours there. So pretty much a class a day.
Yeah,
That's cool. I'm looking forward to
yeah,
it.
and depending on people's progress, like what can I say? Like I'm not gonna like push you to the next concept if you're still haven't been able to absorb the concept that we just went over. So like because I don't see no point in that. Like if we're trying to go from one concept to the other but you haven't understood the concept that we just introduced, there's no point moving forward. You have to be able to understand the concepts as we move along.
Does that mean you're gonna hold off the whole group with the new content, or just that person? Okay, you
No,
can
I'll
keep
probably
continue
just
studying. You have.
I'll have to find a way to hold off that one person and work with them probably a little
Mhm.
more until they get it.
Like move it down to the next cohort maybe
Yeah.
if they can't keep up.
Yeah, maybe we'll see because I don't want to assume
We'll
that
find out more.
and then make people feel like, well, if I can't do this, I'm gonna get held back. Like if you can't do it, I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm not gonna take your money either. I'm just gonna tell you it's not for you, and maybe find another career, or I'm gonna tell you you could do it, but we just gotta do some
Keep
more work.
on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like you'll know in that
Um,
first month because that first month, the importance for me is your programming language. So you're gonna know in that first month if you can do it or not because you're gonna get introduced to JavaScript as a programming language, and we're gonna hit it hard. and I'm gonna put you to the test, and it's gonna be you're gonna know because that's the most important part. I could teach you HTML, CSS, and then you can do the easy part and think you're good to go. But the reality is the programming language or these frameworks, these JavaScript frameworks, they're the hard part. Whether they're doing front end or back end, or like actually writing and learning JavaScript's the hard part. So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna get the hard part done right away, so you know right from the beginning if you can do it or not, if you can wrap your mind around it or not. Nobody else has questions?
Hi, I have a little comment.
Okay.
Just as an observer, this was such wonderful presentation. This is so out of my realm and my expertise, but I enjoyed it so much. It was such a succinct presentation. Fernando, isn't it? Fernando?
Yes.
And Irina, I thank you for allowing me. I think I was just an appendage that happened to tag along with this presentation. I just felt so good. You know, it somehow made me feel so alive just listening to this as somebody who's retired right now. So thank you so much. I'm gonna add you to my community, you know, of people that I know now, and I'll keep in touch with you guys since I have your email. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you. All the luck, all the best with your venture.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Perhaps someday I will become a student of yours. You never know. Bye bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
So how'd you fix it? The 25 or more?
So you can't have a video. You have to have people without video. If anybody turns on the video on a call, it limits it to 25, and it's gonna kick out everybody who doesn't have a like.
So slides are like a no-go.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, you can't have a video and have more than 25 people. If one person has a video, it's a video call. It's limited to 25 people. So to have more than 25 people, you can do that by turning off all the videos. Like nobody's allowed to have a video, and then you can have as many people as you want.
Video. All right. Nobody else? Any questions before we go? No. All right. Well, Sec Pro, if you get around to it, if you want to reach out to us, let us know if there's something maybe we can work it out for you. Anybody else interested, you can go into the Mentorship Program channel and check out the information there. Also, you can just DM one of us and we'll get back to you about it. If you're interested in joining a boot camp, use my link if you want, if you can, please. Yes, because it helps me out. But other than that, that was it. The next event is going to be a non-sponsored event. So now that you're in the community, we'll have an event that's next Friday. It's not going to be anything about coding boot camps or anything like that. We're just going to pick something within the tech space, and we're going to either talk about it or we're going to do some coding and stuff like that.
And it's informal, so I'm not really going to be emailing about it to anybody.
Yeah. You just show up.
So like, yeah, you just come over.
Yeah, so like it'll be at the same time next Friday, and then I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, it'll be in the chat. I want to move it
to a Saturday.
Oh wow. Well, we'll see. But yeah, we can whatever we do, you're gonna see it's gonna get posted in the chat, and then you could just come and join us, and it's just our normal event, and we just do whatever the heck we want in there. We're going to go over whatever coding you want. If anybody has any coding questions or they want to learn anything about web development, or if they want to talk about anything, or they want to do some AI stuff, whatever, we're going to do it. We'll do it.
It was great meeting you all. Thank you for coming over.
Yep, thank you.
If you feel like hanging out and talking with each other, feel free to use the server. Just come on to the web dev meetings. If you see anybody on, feel free to pop by. They'll be happy to chat with you. Or you can reach out to anybody who did the introduction. You can just say, oh, hey, I'm in the same field. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit so we don't have to hey everybody in the introductions channel. So we have just the introductions for in the introductions channel and the greetings too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean it up. Oh well, great meeting y'all.
See you guys.